made misleading claims about nicotine content in its devices, which the company has denied. A new recall affecting a popular pickup truck.
Ford is recalling 217,000 pickup trucks for a problem which could increase the risk of accidents. The issue, LED headlights on certain F-150 trucks from model years 2018 to 2020. The defect could reduce the visibility of oncoming drivers, though Ford says it doesn't know of any crashes. Ford is also recalling more than 30,000 of the pickups to fix an engine block heater cable with the risk of overheating or fire. That recall covers certain versions of the 2015 to 16 F-150. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
Again, an hour to the close on Wall Street. A sell-off continues, driven by concern about the coronavirus. The Dow's down 704 points. And Lisa Brady, this is Fox News.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. I know you love our KFC shrimp burger, so I'm bringing it back, along with our one-of-a-kind shrimp and crab Kellogg's. Take a break from your usual fish fillet sandwich and try our big selection of KFC seafood items. And, of course, we cannot forget your one and only favorite KFC original recipe chicken, too. Hurry in this Lenten season. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
With a new decade, there are new opportunities. And with new opportunities, there is always a chance to say yes. Yes to that car. Yes to that business venture. Yes to that new house. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Denny's is making lunchtime a little more special. Every Monday through Friday, they serve a variety of local favorite soups, such as chicken adobo on Mondays, oxtail soup on Tuesdays and Thursdays, chicken tinola on Wednesdays, and pork synagogue on Fridays, while supplies last. All orders are served with rice. Senior citizens get a special menu, which includes a free soup or salad. Make Denny's your new lunch spot, located in Tamuning and the Micronesia Mall.
Good morning. It's 6:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news from the Guam Daily Post. As the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has raised its caution on travel to South Korea to the highest level, Korean Air has confirmed a member of its cabin crew has tested positive for the coronavirus. With the development, Korea Air shut down its office near the Incheon International Airport, where the crew briefing room is located. The airline didn't state what routes and flights the cabin crew member was on prior to the discovery of the infection. Korean Air was one of the 3 Seoul-based airlines that have reduced flights to Guam in light of the downturn in air travel due to concerns over the virus. The Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention notified the airline of the employee confirmed to have been infected. The U.S. CDC also issued a warning level 3, which means the Americans urged to avoid all non-essential travel to South Korea because of the widespread community transmission. South Korea has confirmed 893 people have tested positive for the novel coronavirus, which is the highest number of cases for any country outside of China. Guam doesn't have a single confirmed case of the coronavirus, but the global fear has adversely affected the local tourism industry. In fact, GVB reported last week that 15,000 people have canceled their trips to Guam. Meanwhile, even more Korea-Guam flights have been canceled. As of yesterday, the airport confirmed 82 flights between South Korea and Guam have been canceled from February 14th through March 15th. South Korea accounts for the bulk of the tourist arrivals on Guam. Well, Guam may have been declared dengue-free, but scores of people lined up to receive mosquito nets distributed by public health. 5,000 are to be distributed throughout the villages this week. More than 100 mosquito nets were distributed in the first hour at Estumbo Gym. The team also gave out mosquito repellent sprays to help keep residents protected from the mosquito-borne illnesses. The nets are meant for families living in substandard housing. The teams will continue to distribute their nets from 2 to 7 through Friday at the Estumbo Senior Citizen Center in Dededo, Tamuning Gym, and the Agate Community Center. They say the distribution will continue until all of the nets have been issued. Well, both of the island's public school swimming pools had continued to be closed, and Governor Lulian Guerrero and the Department of Parks and Recreation, they've decided to terminate the agreement with a private contractor that was paid to maintain them. The contract is with Canton Construction, and it cost GovGuam $660,000 over 2 years. The contractor has already been paid about $500,000. The termination followed a series of unscheduled pool closures at both swimming pool locations, which continue to frustrate the community. The Office of the Attorney General has filed a civil suit against the Consolidated Commission on Utilities, in particular members Joey Duenas, Francis Santos, Simon Sanchez, and former members George Bamba and Pedro Guerrero, alleging the commissioners violated the open government law during a 2015 closed-door meeting. In that meeting, the CCU members decided on a $28,000 raise for the GWA interim general manager. The AG's office alleges the commissioners violated their duty of care and were, quote, entrusted to ensure they would manage public funds in the interest of the people of Guam, end quote. The case comes after the Office of the AG and the Office of the Public Accountability announced a partnership to tackle the misuse of government funds. The OPA audit reported the CCU violated the open government law at least 31 times when giving salaries and bonuses to employees. The OPA also recommended that the CCU take corrective action to seek repayment of these funds. Instead, the CCU held a special meeting to retroactively approve the bonuses and raises that it had previously given in the closed-door meetings. Their special meeting resulted in the status quo. Now, AG Levin Camacho says in order to regain the public's trust in our government, we can't treat repeated violations of our laws as business as usual. He adds that they'll hold people who violate the laws accountable, which, despite being a last resort, will sometimes require taking these matters to court. The commissioners could not be reached for comment. More news after this.
Docomo Pacific wants to keep your business connected. When you sign up for a smart business bundle, you're gaining more than just mobile, internet, and phone services. Receive unbeatable value for your money and the convenience of having it all on one bill. All your business services on the widest and fastest network in Guam and the Marianas. Call 688-2677 for more information on partnering your business. Docomo Pacific Business, delivering your future today.
All of the sinks and showers have running hot water and all of the toilets flush. That's from a tour of the Agana lockup yesterday. The tour follows complaints from 9 federal inmates and detainees who alleged inhumane conditions at the prison, to include improper medical, dental, and psychological care. During the tour, DOC pointed out that the fire suppression system still hasn't been in operation, and it hasn't been for several years, but they are planning on getting it fixed. Additionally, the jail has installed a new air conditioning unit and tables and chairs for attorneys to meet with their clients. Now, DOC plans to begin moving the prisoners back into the renovated cells today so that they can continue working on the other areas that need improvement. The case is set to go back to the Chief Judge, Francis Tidinko Gatewood, on March 9th after she ordered the parties to work together to resolve the issues at the lockup. Public Defender John Gorman at the tour said that there are some issues that remain, but he is pleased to see that there has been significant progress. And today is Ash Wednesday, which, according to tradition practiced primarily by Catholics, is the start of the Lenten season, a time for fasting and prayer. On Guam, thousands of local faithful will make their way to one of the masses that are scheduled to receive their ashes. The schedule of the masses, you can find that in the Guam Daily Post. You can pick up a copy of the paper, log on to their website at postguam.com. And those are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here now's Ray with your weather.
It looks like partly cloudy skies today, Mona, with isolated showers. Easterly winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Daytime high should be about 87 degrees tonight. Expect partly cloudy skies and a maybe on some showers. Easterly winds again 15 to 20 miles an hour. Overnight lows 75 degrees. Sunrise this morning about 20 to 7. We'll watch the sunset tonight at 6:28. Again, 6:28. Tell the others, find the usual spots, and we'll catch you out there when it's time for all of that. There's still a high risk of rip currents along east-facing reefs, and be careful with your cigarette butts and your ashes and your flamethrowers and your marijuana joints, because they're still they're not going to say that right now that there's fire danger ratings are up high, but we have seen a little bit more in terms of brush fires and things like that out in the boondocks. So watch out for that. 6:13. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific, banking on the Pacific for 65 years.
Yikes, are those Christmas bills coming in? Wait, hold on, that was last month. Now it's this month. But by popular demand, we're extending our New Year's solution 4.65% personal loan through February. Money for whatever you want at 4.65% APR from Bank Pacific. We're still celebrating.
Bank Pacific. where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal credit opportunity lender as low as 4.65%. Conditions apply.
Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon is stirring up some of your favorite drinks all night long. Come down on Wednesday and Friday nights from 5:30 to 10 p.m. Indulge in some of your favorite local cuisine and pair it with your favorite drink. From our ice-cold beers, our finest selection of wines and liquors, to our top-notch cocktail specials, your friends at Mezcla Bistro Tumon are ready to serve you. Why limit happy to only an hour? The Mezcla family reminds everyone to drink responsibly. See you on Wednesday and Friday night.
It's now 6:14 in the morning. Checking on the menu here to see what we're going to be eating for Lent. You realize today's Ash Wednesday, right? 7 o'clock, I think, is one of the first masses that are going on this morning. We'll get you caught up with all of that. 6:14 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show brought to you by American President Lines, APL global presence with a local home, and the team over at Denny's. Now, I said I was looking over their menu. We've got tofu omelets, nacho cheese fries. There's shrimp egg foo young and salted egg salad. All of those things. I mean, it might not necessarily have like a fish in it, but since it doesn't have meat, it's going to be Lent safe. I'm also going to, do I go out on a limb here and say that they're keto safe as well? Is that possible? I can't remember. Anyway, 6:15 in the morning. How do we Lent and keto at the same time? Is there a way to do that? Find Adonis Keto Mendiola, and maybe he'll be able to help guide us through this unusual time. Where are we? 6:15. Like I said, that's the Ray Gibson Show here on The Point. Go.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Just get started just like that. No major pomp, ceremony, circumstance. All right, fine, let's do it. Welcome. It's the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray, and thrilled to be here with you on Trash Day. It's taking out the trash day, and the government has taken out the trash. They fired the contractor for the swimming pools, but not before they paid them $500,000 for crappy work, apparently. So the question that I'm asking today on the Facebook Live, because we like to title the program, the question I'm asking is, who else can we fire? Is there anybody else out there we can fire? Can we fire somebody and make things better automatically over at, say, the Department of Corrections or Guam Memorial Hospital? What is there like another contractor that can be the scapegoat for all of the other problems in the government? There's got to be somebody, like a GMH.
You can find somebody.
I'm sure you can. Anyway, that's baby sister Mona Silva Tyrant. She'll take care of making sure that we're up to speed on all the big news and headlines from the guys over at the Guam Daily Post. Real Joe Cruz picks up the phone when you call it 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. And there's a bunch of stuff on the WhatsApp. I haven't had a chance to go through everything, although I think Kenley and Guerrero he might have sent over the first draft of the Chorus of Cynics logo. You remember we were talking about that yesterday. The governor identified a variety of people, not by name, but just talked about a chorus of cynics in the first couple of paragraphs of her State of the Island address. And Mona is positive she's talking about me and a few other guys.
I'm pretty positive.
All right. Anyway, so 9885. Ken, do me a favor, Ken. Resend that. I don't know. I've been having problems with the WhatsApp here because Mercury's in retrograde, and I think I lost the one that you sent earlier today. So 988-5874. We'll check with Ken, the other governor, Leon Guerrero, as we make our way forward into this program. But it's 6:18, and let me just say, these are the people that I'm going to miss the most when I die from coronavirus. Go.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name.
What?
And they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see the troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, I got to put this up. This is a perennial favorite. This is a year after year after year. One of my favorites for for the WhatsApps that are going to be floating around. Got to get a copy of this, float this thing on Facebook Live and TikTok, some places like that. Carl L.G. Bloss comes in at number 1 this morning. I got James Howard, Rico Blanca Flores online at number 3. John Ray Taitano, good to see you there, buddy. Pat and Norma Jean Flores, Marlu Berseman, John Santos, Alex Afflegue, J.B. St. Nicholas, that's the secret shopper of the Ray Gibson Show, and Pam Duval is out there rounding out the top 10. J.B. St. Nicholas, do me a favor. Could you give me an idea of where we might be able to find hand sanitizer? What's your best guess on loads of hand sanitizer and masks? The kind of mask. Yeah, I'm wondering just what the efficacy is, because I don't have any masks, but I have a lot of those coffee filters at the house. I bought the wrong size one, so I've got plenty of those coffee filters. Can I use those? Is there a way that I could find a way to strap those to my face?
Duct tape?
Duct tape?
Duct tape it.
What, over my mouth? Just okay.
Why not?
We're just trying to be creative around here, just trying to help out. Who's playing around online? Who else is out there? Anthony Bennett, Lujan Duenas from Family Finance. Anthony Kaminga saying good morning from Washington State. Valerie St. Augustine, Untalan, good to see you there. And Zoet Cruz says Guam is stronger than it was a year ago. Yeah, right. Lou Neitz is online this morning, hanging out. Joette Cruz. Now that's a beautiful painting right there. Joe, if you like it. I was talking about the painting behind Mana. If you like it, when Michelle Peer comes online, right-click on her name and then make contact with her, and she'll give you the Ray Gibson Show price on that. James Howard and Lynn Vince Borja Polino. I see June Bells Carino, who's whispering now. Happy blessed Ash Wednesday, Ray, Mana, and the team on the point. Thank you very much. I appreciate you acknowledging and wondering at which point today. There's a whole gaggle of masses.
Do you have to be quiet today? I thought it was
No,
just,
I think that's just Good Friday. I think it's. Why are you whispering? have you been that bad that you're like in total Lent in immersion mode right now? Keena McCausland's got her Ash Wednesday tomorrow. I'd just for the cultural exchange of it, I'm just kind of curious. How do they observe Ash Wednesday up in Vancouver, Washington? Is there anything special that you guys do in Vancouver that we don't do here? My buddy Patrick Bumba is online. Nick Perlosky, Daryl Taggarty's up early. There's Michelle Pierce, Charlene Marchessault, and Mark Cruz is there. Ken L.G. says Governor Lou jinxed us when she boldly claimed Guam was coronavirus-free. And we're now hearing a story about cannot independently confirm. We know who they are. Yeah. We've got a pretty good idea of who they are, but there's at least somebody that we know of in our circle that has apparently been hospitalized with dengue fever just recently.
Yeah.
So would have been inside that 40 days.
Right. I received this text, and I can't say who it's from, but it's just funny how the governor declared the island dengue free when so-and-so's employee just got out of the hospital for it. After it took 10 days before they finally tested for it and diagnosed
that it was
the person.
Dengue.
The person was in the hospital for another week with dengue fever. And I received that last night.
Just last night.
We did not, like you said, independently confirm that.
But we're working on it. Yes. We're working on it.
Man, we could call the hospital and ask them if it's true.
Oh, I suppose so. Go ahead. Maridel Guevara Santos is online. As I said, Marlo Berseman, Eunice Mendiola, Pat, Norma Jean, Mingo, Reed, Darlene Bloss, V. Sablan LG, and her Bliss is out there somewhere. What have we got? Who else is playing around? Bert Duarte, Marla Carbolito. Good morning to JZ Tatmanglu. Like fishing, catch and release. The fish goes free. Maybe you're talking about a story in the front page of the Guam Daily Post. An actual meth dealer has managed somehow to avoid jail time. And the somehow is he got her case into Anita Sokola's courtroom. That's how. Randy Kruger's there. Joe Leasale Longi. And what is it? The logo has been sent. Thanks very much. I'll look for Jess Mendiola is there. Ria Babauta Garrido, Tony and Annette Unpinko Ada. And Tony, we're still waiting for you to come by the radio station with your petitions.
I saw him at the funeral, and he didn't have it with him.
Well, good. Nothing disgusts me more.
Just kidding. I didn't even ask.
God disgusts me more than people that start politicking over at funerals and things.
I didn't even ask him at the funeral.
I'm walking away. I had just passed the body. I just passed the family, and I'm walking outside, and somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, Ramon, what? Are you running?" And I'm like, okay, here's my hard and fast. I don't talk politics in church, and I'm certainly not going to talk politics at a funeral. I can't think of anything more icky and disgusting. And so finally, somebody was able to corner me and Mana and go. So we, you're running. What's your platform going to be? And we were talking about the environment. It's going to be plastic bags.
Yes.
And she's like, oh yeah. We're going to ban the plastic bags. I said, no. I'm going to remove the ban. We need more plastic bags around
straws.
here. And plastic straws.
I
What's the
hate
deal on
paper
that?
straws. I hate them.
There's nothing worse. It's a scourge. It's a scourge.
You cannot drink a frozen margarita with a paper straw. I'm telling you, you can't.
So I mean, we've got to get the more commonsensical approach to dealing with all of this, and maybe it's going to have to be. You know what? I never seen. I'm out in the ocean a lot. I've never seen our pretty dolphins out there with plastic bags shrouding over their head and suffocating because they can't breathe through the little blowholey thing in the back. I've never seen that. Have you ever seen a turtle chewing on a plastic straw?
I have.
The one picture. You've seen the one picture.
No, I've seen it on YouTube a lot.
Yeah, it's the one thing. You've only seen the one deal. Anyways, Gene Uggan, but it ended the conversation, as you might just kind of walked away. Gene Uggan Martinez is there. There's Michelle Pierce saying half a day. Randy Matanonia with the thumbs up. That's good. Ismail is online. U.S. military dependents tested positive for coronavirus. Where are you getting that one? Show me the link, bro. I need to see links. Doris is online. That's a running pal with 2 R's in her name. Mike Hernandez. Shauna Fujikawa Stickles is online. And everybody's, it's a new girl. We're going to right-click on that all day. Angela Bora, Quintanilla, Gary Shanals, Joe Bloss is there. Pam Duvall says Guam is stronger than it was a year ago. The state of the island in distress address. Here we go with dengue and now Korea facing virus scare. But Guam is stronger and better than ever. Forever. Dave Torrey's online. Nick Perlowski, Debbie Canetta is already there. Rai St. Nicholas is online. And it seems like everybody is just a hair salty. It's church day. I don't want you going to church with a salty attitude, so get it out of your system right now. 888. I thought Ismail. I thought when you were talking about the Navy, I thought you were going to be bringing up this story here that I thought was kind of interesting. And we always joke around about our kids and their addiction to TikTok. Apparently, people in the military have an addiction to TikTok as well. This story just in: national security experts have raised concerns about TikTok's collection and handling of user data. That didn't come from me. That come from U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer. Members of the United States Navy are now banned from using short-form video app TikTok on their government-issued mobile devices. Tuesday, the Navy issued a cyber awareness message, oddly announcing the ban on their Facebook page to military members. The message reportedly called TikTok a cybersecurity threat and noted that anyone with the app installed on their devices would be blocked from accessing the Navy and Marine Corps intranet. This isn't the first time the military has taken issue with TikTok, which is owned, here's why, by Beijing-based technology company ByteDance. But the other part of this is national security experts are concerned because as TikTok is able to access the apps, it can also access user content, their communications, IP addresses, location-related data, metadata, and other sensitive personal information. And of course, the videos of some of these members of the armed forces doing their TikTok spaz thing, like they've got some kind of wiring problem in their brain. So it could be one of those things where we're trying to protect our reputation, but certainly protect some of the other things. 627, the other story that has got everybody a little bit probably more concerned is the story about Korean Airlines and this kind of shrouded. You'll find the story in a couple of places, including on Facebook. But the question that we've got now is at least one member of a flight crew on Korean Air has tested positive for the coronavirus, and we don't know what routes this person has flown on. They have not yet released any of that information, and that's got everybody scrambling. They've shut down one of their shops at Incheon.
The thing is does it even matter what route they fly? I mean, they all converge at one common location, don't they? So I mean, so there might have been some sort of interaction,
right? And they've closed that part of the airport down.
Yeah. So even if they don't fly to Guam, they could have interacted with somebody else who was, and infected that person, and then they went off to Japan or to elsewhere. So, wow.
Raises the question, where's Guam? Guam is so far coronavirus free, but it raises the question when it comes, and I suppose the point ought to be that we need to be prepared for when it arrives and not sit around and go, well, we don't have it yet, everything is going to be okay. Hear no evil, see no evil, say no evil,
and
right?
you said it, we don't have it yet that we know of, because it could have easily been. It could have easily come in, and we don't know that the person has it. They think they have a common cold. You don't know until you. How many people get a common cold and go see a doctor?
Not me.
Not me either.
Not me. I don't go to the doctor.
I self-medicate.
I don't go to the doctor even when I've got the actual flu. I mean, unless, and now I can't even say unless. I've never been to the doctor for flu symptoms. Closest thing that was a few years ago when I think I had amoebic dysentery. That was a cough, wasn't it? Where's my mask?
You're not even covering your cough.
And so it begins.
No, that wasn't a coronavirus cough.
I refuse to be confined in here for 14 days with this guy.
I got a piece of betel nut stuck in my throat cough. That's it. There's a completely separate another thing. Letter went out from the Vice President of the United States to the President of the United States. No, I'm sorry. This goes out to the Honorable President of the Senate from Russell Voigt. Acting Director of the Office of Management and Budget in Washington, D.C. The president's priority is protecting the homeland, and the administration is working aggressively to minimize the risk of virus spreading in the United States. The president has created a coronavirus task force to direct the U.S. response. This task force, led by the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and is composed of subject matter experts from across government, including some of the nation's foremost experts on infectious diseases. This is written in very, very government speak here, so there's a whole lot of acronyms, and there's a whole lot of naming and names of using the long names of departments and agencies. So I'm trying to cut to the important part. The administration believes additional federal resources are necessary to take steps to prepare for a potential worsening of the situation in the United States, and requests an appropriation of $1.25 billion of emergency funding in the Public Health and Social Services Emergency Fund to continue supporting critical response and preparedness activities. In addition, the administration is requesting that Congress permit the $535 million in emergency supplemental funding appropriated in the Agriculture, Rural Development, Food and Drug Administration and Related Agency Appropriations Act of 2020 to the Public Health and Social Services Emergency Fund at HHS for the prevention and treatment of Ebola to be used for coronavirus response. Tremendous progress has been made on Ebola, and the current national response priority should be coronavirus. These two proposals would make over $1.8 billion in new resources available for the current response. They want to, at the end of all of this, have access to at least $2.5 billion in total resources for coronavirus response efforts. And what would those response efforts be? Well, public health preparedness and response efforts include public health surveillance, epidemiology, laboratory testing, quarantining costs, advanced research and development of new vaccines, therapeutics and diagnostics, advanced manufacturing enhancements, and the strategic national stockpile. Funds would also be made available as necessary to affected states that are making contributions to the current national response. So I look at that, and it seems to me, as I read it, that hang on, help is on the way. The cavalry is coming, and they're going to be armed with billions and billions of dollars. Now, we know, and because it did come up in the governor's speech the other day, that was among the things that they were going to be doing. We're trying to get to the head of the line here. We're tip of the spear for everything, because this coronavirus now has started in China, and we're seeing big numbers in South Korea and Japan and some of the other destinations, the markets that come to Guam, that call on Guam. It seems to me that we ought to be the tip of the spear in terms of preventing any of the spread of the coronavirus into the rest of the United States of America. Seems to me. We'll talk about that and more as the Ray Gibson Show continues. A couple of other things that I think are going to be of interest, and I'll share them with you on the other side of our next look at headlines. Now, with news from the Guam Daily Post, here's Montecillo Tyron.
A crew member from Korean Air has tested positive for the coronavirus, and the airline has not stated what routes the crew member was on. Korean Air shut down its office in Incheon, and more flights have been canceled to Guam. The U.S. CDC also issued a warning level 3, meaning Americans are urged to avoid non-essential travel to South Korea because of the widespread community transmission. Well, Governor Lilian Guerrero and the Department of Parks and Recreation have decided to terminate the agreement it had with Canton Construction. Canton was hired in the former administration to maintain the swimming pools, and after repeatedly failing to keep the Agagnon-Dedita pools clean and open, they've been given the boot. The contract was for $660,000 over 2 years. The contractor has already been paid close to $500,000. And today is Ash Wednesday, which according to tradition is practiced by Catholics as the start of the Lenten season, a time for fasting and prayer. Thousands of people will attend one of the many masses scheduled throughout the day. The schedule can be found in the Guam Daily Post. And those are some of your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, pick up a copy of the paper, log on to the website at postguam.com.
Hey, it's 6:33, 6:34 in the morning. That's iConnect time. Go to the nearest iConnect. There's one over at the Micronesia Mall, and check out all the cool iPhone accessories that they've got there. AirPods, AirPod Pros, Apple chargers. They've got these cool silicone AirPod Pro cases that you can get now, and they've got colors that will match all of the little holders and cases that you've got, because if you have parts of the Apple family, they all have to be color coordinated, right? No, they do. And you can do that with a quick trip to iConnect at the Micronesia Mall.
Live the balanced lifestyle. Take Care Insurance offers proven wellness and fitness programs to encourage individuals and families to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle through preventative care, being active, eating right, relaxing and unwinding, and being socially connected. They have the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs for all ages. Join the movement. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram, or visit takecareasia.com to learn more.
Half a day. This is Alicia Blas from Security Title with a gentle reminder that it's property tax season. You might not know, but if you purchase property after March 4 of 2019, you most likely will not receive a tax bill in the mail, but you still owe the tax. The second installment payment is due on April 20. Take a copy of your deed to Rev and Tax in Barragata and ask for the tax bill. When it comes to your family land, call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated team in Guam and on the U.S. mainland are here to support you. So call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Traffic Gizmo time. It's just intersection traffic right now, unless you're at the intersection of 9 and 1 up in Jigo, front gate of Anderson Air Force Base, running a little bit slower through there right now. A little bit of traffic in the back road to Anderson on Route 15, but it'll open up by the time you get to Route 10. So far right now, that's looking good. 8, 10, and 16, not so bad. A little bit of traffic on Route 1 and 3 and over at the Chicken Joy intersection, but it's slight right now. It's not going to slow you down big time, just intersection stuff. I'm telling you, most of Route 4 running clear. Route 8 is looking pretty good right now. Route 4, Marine Corps, Route 4 to Marine Corps Drive, anywhere from Agagnon Shopping Center now down to Marine Corps Drive. They have added more to the construction fleets that are in that area. So it's not just in front of Shakey's, it's in front of the around the Bank of Guam area. They've got a couple of places in the inside lane that is going to slow you down. And the thing that I hated about it, I was running down there last night, it smells like airplane glue or something like that. There's a chemical smell that is, I think, is associated with that construction that they're doing down there. You smelled it too, right? When you were down getting your
fiberglass, or it smelled like some.
There was some, like I said, some kind of chemical. Now I used to sniff glue back in the day, so I'm pretty familiar with the aroma is. What? We all built models. We were all little boys building models in our rooms.
I think everyone from our area might have all sniffed rubber cement.
Just saying, it's hard to avoid that smell. I mean, I wasn't sniffing it to get high a lot. I was sniffing it because, it's the proximity. Oh, no, the wing. I have to put the wing back on. Oh, no, I got to put the little pilot man in this little airplane chair. Oh, no, more glue is going to be required for all of this. Anyway, so be very careful if you're passing by there, if you're unusually sensitive to those kinds of aromas. And I'm pointing to Real Joe and saying about, you got your thing there. You got your stacks fixed, huh?
I did. And you
Did you
scared the heck out of me.
I'm running by. I was running, and I turned the corner. I thought, I'm going to catch my breath here for just a second, and I look at this guy, and it's like this familiar looking shape of his head, and I'm going, and he wasn't wearing his hat, right? So I wasn't sure, and sure enough, hey, this is real Joe, and he kind of started, and I was, what's the matter? Apparently, I scared you, huh?
A naked man running towards me is kind of scary.
Wasn't naked.
I didn't know if you were going to take my burger or
Wasn't
what.
half naked. Was I? Did I not have my shirt on?
No.
No, I
you
did
had
not.
these tiny shorts on.
That is scary. That is, all right. What scared you more, the no shirt or the tiny shorts? Sagani?
The hairy chest.
There's no hairy chest there. All right, right now traffic being brought to you by Bank of Hawaii. Welcome to the future.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,600 by calling Family Finance in Agutya at 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. I know you love our KFC shrimp burger, so I'm bringing it back, along with our one-of-a-kind shrimp and crab Kelaguen. Take a break from your usual fish fillet sandwich and try our big selection of KFC seafood items. And, of course, we cannot forget your one and only favorite KFC original recipe chicken, too. Hurry in this Lenten season. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
Ray Gibson Show, you. 20 away from 7 o'clock in the morning. What have I got here? Joey Franquez online. Tommy Barnardo is there. Gary Shawnoles says, went to Thailand for a triathlon over the weekend. And Lou let you back in? Temperatures checked once on the way there in Narita, and only questions about being in China or South Korea on the way back. Thermal body scanner at Bangkok Airport also during the return trip. There are many places that are taking this very, very seriously now. Tomas, cousin Tommy Barcinas is there. Lasia Casil, Daryl Taggarty says, see, Real Joe is a witness. Ray Gibson is running. Yeah, I was just running by the guy, and so I'm kind of curious because it's Stacks. They've only got 3 burgers. Which one did you get? Did you get the classic?
I got the classic single.
All right, classic single. Last night to be able to eat meat, and you got just the classic single. Didn't double it up. Did you get fries?
No, but I had them put bacon.
The pizza fries there.
I haven't tried.
What's the point? Did you at least get one of the beers?
No, I didn't.
Again, what's the you could have gotten that deal anywhere if you didn't get the.
If you could see how Ray's looking at me right now.
Well, why would you go there just
beer?
for the burger? They got a couple of good beers. I forget the name of the beers that they've got there, but they're very good and they pair very well with the burgers and the pizza fries that you can get over at Stacks. Now I'm curious, if you got to start when you saw me running into your direction, did you turn around and see the homeless guy on the bench?
No, I didn't even see that guy.
We're getting used to it. That's the thing is you're getting used to it. There's just so many people, just kind of disheveled and dirty and laying down on infrastructure, on their backpacks. You don't even notice it anymore.
It just so happens that in that location, right in front of the tattoo shop next door, I was running one morning, and this was kind of one of the last times I ran in Aganya, but I was running and I noticed a foot coming out of that stairwell. And it moved backwards. And so I'm running by just kind of, okay, I'm aware that there's someone there. Move a little bit faster. And as it turns out, the person was taking care of business. As I ran by. So, yeah.
That's it. We're the crap that we were having to get used to, and I'm going to make a prediction now, and I'm going to hate to make it, but it's gonna happen. Is now that there's no police precinct in Aganya, Agana is going to become the new Anigua. All of the problems that we see in Anigua, all of the strays, all of the zombies walking around in the middle of the night, the drunks, they're all going to find their way into the capital city. Watched the guy yesterday as I was waiting to pick up the little girl. There were a bunch of Koreans and taking the pictures over on the Guam signs, and here comes this guy. Capital City, right there, tourist district, pushing a Payless shopping cart full of all of his worldly possessions. Just kind of stops and look around like, hey, I want to be in your pictures. Can I put me in your selfies? Here's a great memory of Guam, and as he moved closer to this unit of tourists, the tourists began moving away and making way for the guy. And I can't help but think that more has to be done about that. But hey, Guam is stronger than it's ever been before. Greg Karabrock's there, Rose Bill Murphy, Jim Adkins is online here this morning. Great to see you and a whole bevy of other people. Did I see Ree earlier? And there's the other Ree. Valerie Bloss is online. Andy Camacho says, quarantine that microphone. Disinfect it, says Chris Abalencia. Oh, come on now. You guys are exaggerating. You leave the exaggeration to me, would you? Juanita Machi is online. Anne-Marie Sablon Trousseau is there. U.S. military dependent in South Korea tests positive for the coronavirus. Ken sent that story in. Also got that from Ismail. So I guess it's true what's happening there. As I said, Rai is there online. Debbie Canetta. Here's that story that they're passing around out of Camp Humphreys. A military dependent living on an American military installation in South Korea tested positive for coronavirus, making this the first time a post-related individual has tested positive for the virus. That comes from the South Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. There are Fort Hood troops in South Korea, a little less than half of the 3rd Armored Brigade Combat Team, 1st Cav Division, based out of Fort Hood, is currently still in South Korea. Some of the brigade's roughly 4,000 members have returned to Fort Hood at the end of their approximately 9-month rotations. Others will be coming home over the next couple of weeks. The brigade is in the process of transferring the mission to provide combat power to deter possible enemies in the region. A patient, a 61-year-old female, visited Camp Walker's Post Exchange on February 12th and 15th. Health professionals are actively conducting contact tracing to determine whether any others may have been exposed. Military leaders encourage all personnel to continue to practice strict, proper hygiene procedures as the best ways to prevent the spread of viruses and protect the military force. Wash hands with soap and water or use hand sanitizers. Do not touch your face or eyes with unclean hands, and it goes through all of the rest of the litany that we have heard over the last month on how to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. But there it is. Ismail said it's happening, and
we've got
it
Guam
is.
Guards folks that go to South Korea for training, and I don't know if we have any there now.
Nor do I, but Major Joe Bloss is online. She might be able to help us out and fill us in with some of that information. From the government of Guam, Department of Public Health and Social Services, working with local and federal partners, continues to monitor the developing situation with the 2019 novel coronavirus. We continue to monitor the latest developments. Press. At this time, there are no confirmed cases, and there are no cases that meet the CDC criteria for a person under investigation for coronavirus on Guam. It's carefully assessing the situation as it evolves. GVB continues to communicate closely with its overseas and local partners. Previously reported data regarding cancellations do not account for those visitors who may have or plan to rebook their travel to a later date. Most cancellations to Guam are from South Korean markets. This is a problem. It's one of the other stories I was reading this morning before we got started. It is a problem for Koreans now. I'm sorry. People that are getting coronavirus in my nose. It is a problem for people that had originally booked fares on Korean Airlines from, say, the United States to South Korea. And at the time they made the books, we had not seen the big numbers coming out of South Korea. But now that we have, they're trying to cancel their flights, and Korean Airlines won't let them. They won't let them cancel their flights. Outbound travel, no problem. You're going someplace where there's going to be restrictions, and you'll have to do quarantines. We got it. We're not gonna nick you for that. Travel to other countries where South Koreans just aren't going to go. That's okay. We'll cancel your trip to Guam if you want to, and we'll refund you. Which is why it's easy for them to make 15,000 cancellations. And up to how many now flights are canceled?
82.
82 flights have been canceled now. That's all of February, probably most of March, and maybe even long-term forecasts into April. So we're watching those numbers come down as well. And for people that were holding reservations to come to Guam that have canceled, no problem. We'll go ahead and refund your money. But if you are from the United States If you're from here and you wanted to go to Korea aboard Korean Airlines, and you changed your mind because you don't want to die of coronavirus, sorry, no refund for you. They're having a real big problem with this in the place over there. Travel notes. Or notices, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has issued the following travel guidance. South Korea, they are at level 3, avoid non-essential travel. That was last updated February the 24th. In South Korea, they're at red level. China, level 3, avoid non-essential travel. That was last updated on the 22nd. In Japan, level 2, practice enhanced precautions. So if you still want to get down to Haneda or Narita and just kind of hang out where you're pretty sure there's not a whole lot of coronavirus, you can still go, but wear a mask and cough into your sleeve. Hong Kong, level 1, practice usual precautions, and that was issued February the 19th. So if they're still traveling, you can still go. Just how much do you want to roll the dice? 6:48 in the morning. You feel like you're rolling the dice sometimes just having that conversation, don't you? Roosters is not too concerned about the presence of those underserved, but the drug dealing in Aganya inevitably would bring violence, shootings, etc. Lots of dark places in Aganya. Yeah, I'm getting that. I walk around. I do my run there, and usually there are a bunch of fast guys in the front, and I'm one of the guys that's kind of in the middle, and then there are some slower guys and ladies in the back. And so what I do is when I get to the finish, when I'm done, I'll take a quick breather, and then I'll run out to where I know the last person is and run him or her in. Usually it's a her, and because I want to make sure that they're not accosted by any of the crazies that I've passed along the way, because there are some crazy folks down there. 6:49 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number. Items in the table of contents. Well, as I said, it's Ash Wednesday, day for you to begin to atone. We had all of the fun that we were going to have. The buffet has ended. The open bar is closed. And now if you were a Catholic in this town, it becomes the time of atonement as we prepare for Good Friday and the Feast of the Resurrection. You'll get all of this when you hit church and all of that. But it is also marked here on Guam and has been for many years. And I wonder... And that's why I was asking Keena McCausland. Keena, you pick up the newspaper, you listen to the radio in Vancouver, Washington. Are you guys inundated there with ads for fish like we are here? Is every restaurant that I'm gonna be talking about today, every restaurant that I will tell you about, every restaurant that you see in an ad today is going to be making a big deal about their Lenten specials. Just in time for Lent is going to be the phrase that you're going to hear about all of the different fish specials. We got to be the only ones, right?
The intent that it's supposed to be a period of fasting, but okay.
It's just fasting from meat.
Feast.
It's just, but it's fasting from red meat and chickens and things like that. And for some people, only on Fridays.
However you want to do your fasting.
Yeah, well, it's
entirely up to you.
It's supposed to be a time that we think about sacrifice and service as well. I don't know. I haven't given it. You know what I gave my thought to yesterday in the twilight between waking up from my nap and going on my run. I finally got around to it's in preparation for spending time with Benita Menglotnya. I got my paperwork together, and I went to the H&R Block website and plugged in some preliminary numbers in there. Mm-hmm. And as it turns out, I did not take enough deductions.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
So you'll be one of those filing on April 15th.
On actual April 15th, I will be the last guy in line. In fact, I might
have till midnight. April
I'll hand it to Daphne on her way to the car. Here, Daph. Here's my return, and here's my. Do I have to pay it all at once? I do, right? Crap.
Unless you enter into some sort of payment agreement.
It's $3,700.
Oh my!
What? What happened there?
You need to adjust your.
Listen, and it's too late. It's too late to get married to somebody that's got a gaggle of kids for the deductions now. It's way too late for that.
You can adopt.
I can adopt, yeah, but it won't count because it's already it's already 2020.
Well, you can adopt and then.
Can I adopt?
Offset.
Retroactively? Is there anybody? Can you adopt me? Can I become one of your dependents? And we both see if there's a way that we can cancel out each other's tax problems. I'm not a tax attorney, but I'll play one on the radio. 6:52 in the morning. So I'm looking forward to that. But it also was the start of making sure that I had all of my balances together for the financial disclosure thing that I've got to do for the Guam Election Commission. How far back do I have to go on that? Or is that just like a snapshot of my current finances?
Your current finances.
So the deal behind that, and I asked because you've gone through this process, the deal behind that is so that the public can go, all right, on Wednesday, the 26th of February, Ray Gibson's net worth was this. After having served and after numerous fundraisers, the net worth should be about the same, right?
Right. And then they also want to see...
oh, he did that deal for the casino company, and now Ray Gibson's net worth is, 20 figures.
And they also want to see what potential conflicts exist. So let's say you have an ownership in an oil company, and then you go and you do bills that deal with oil and stuff. They'll just recognize easily that.
Oh, then I should have
recused yourself. And
well, do I recuse in those cases? Do I recuse myself, or just do I put the conflict on stage? Do I just say, look, it's just a disclosure and say I have a fuel company, I have an oil company, but I think that the benefits of this measure outweigh my connections to the fuel company. It's better for the people of Guam.
Well, what you would do is you would opt to recuse yourself, and then it would be up to the body to agree with the recusal. Because I did the same thing when Shelley went up for a vote when it came to her nomination to the Higutnya Restoration Board. Of course, I disclosed that she's my sister. I chose to recuse myself, but they excused me from that, so I went ahead and voted.
So you voted for her, right? And then everybody got the raise, and everybody's dollar bills falling from the sky.
I don't think she benefited from that whatsoever.
Right, $6.54.
Nothing financially beneficial there.
Pam Duvall says, I like the smell and gas, and acquired it at the dirt racetracks in Nimitz Hill when I was a young child. I know the same feeling that you get there. You go to the races. That's got to be it. Is the smell of burning rubber and the carbon monoxide that is in the air that you know that you are at an event where something is either on fire or going fast. Greg Carabrock's online. Rose and Bill Murphy. James Adkins, like I said. Debbie Canetta online. Bill Chaco. Nick Perlowski says, then we can be like L.A. and San Francisco with people pooping in the streets of our capital city. It's already happening. There's already parts over by the right behind the new museum that have got the smell like the Simon Sanchez boys' bathroom already. It's happening. Casper and Connie Fergerger Dutkowitz is there. Susan Ann Smith Hearn says, happy Ash Wednesday to everybody. That's nice as we share our observations. I was talking about Korean Airlines not letting people off the hook on their airplane rides. Ismail says Philippine Air and Bangkok Air wouldn't allow me to cancel my flights either, and then uses a word I shouldn't use on the radio. Nantucket. Sometimes when you're typing a particular word or two on your Apple phone, it will turn it into either Nantucket or duck. And I think that's the case here. Ismail says, Nantucket you, Philippine Airlines. Rooster says, not too concerned about the president. Oh, I already read that one. Frank Chargaloff is online. Tamuning, park at ITC traffic light, Bula homeless. My granddaughter was at that traffic light and had just purchased a Wendy's meal, untouched. She offered it to the young woman who was holding her cardboard sign. The woman yelled at my daughter, says, I don't want food. I want money. Don't think they're really homeless. Tony D'Angelo is there. Annette Ada Vasquez out in Southern California. Shauna Fujikawa at Stickles says, I wish our pets were dependents. Wouldn't that be great, Shauna? Wouldn't that be awesome? Shauna, you and I need to get together, and I'll tell you why. Shauna is she's a tattoo artist, and I've been saying for a while that I was going to get a tattoo with my daughter's name in it because her name in Japanese, the characters are absolutely gorgeous, and I think it would make a great kind of Yakuza sleeve thing if I had something going like that. Anyway, Shauna, I've seen your work, and I'd sure like an opportunity to come by and show you the ideas that I've got in my head for that kind of thing. Yeah, Ray Gibson's going to get a tattoo because it's 2020. Everybody's get a tattoo, and I'm going to get a nose piercing. I'm going to get a tear next to my for the reals. All right, I might do this again just because, but I got a story here of what could be the dumbest criminal on the island. David Rivera at the Attorney General's office took a look at a police report and filed this declaration. On or about February the 24th, Gilvin Duenas Charfaris, a.k.a. Defendant, was present at the Guam Police Department's processing center in Sinohanya, Guam. One of the first new customers. Imagine that. One of the first new customers in a new processing center at the new Gita built-up police station up there. When officers who were present with the defendant heard an object drop from the defendant to the floor. Anybody? Anybody?
Ding, 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 ding.
What they found was a glass ball type makeshift pipe containing scorch marks on front of a door next to the defendant's foot. The defendant stated the pipe was not his. A field test resulted in a presumptive positive for methamphetamines. Now, I don't know what he was originally in there for, but in addition to that now, he's going to get nicked with illegal possession of a Schedule II controlled substance as a third-degree felony. So says David Rivera, the Assistant Attorney General. I can already hear the plea. Yes, guilty to that charge, Your Honor, and I will give you the name of the guy that I got the crystal methamphetamine from, and then you can let him go later on. It's just a whole string of people that are going to get let go for this. But I'm sorry, this got to be just the dumbest crook in the world.
If something falls out of your pants, just look up. Where'd I go?
Officer, you dropped your pipe.
Yeah, that'll be the way to do that. There's a couple of other magistrate reports that I think are going to be exciting to go through as we make our way through, including a guy that tried to steal, which is weird because he tried to steal women's cologne from Michael Kors down in Tumon, and then. And then there's the guy that told the police his name was John Cruz, but when he lifted his shirt to wipe sweat from his forehead, the officers noted the defendant had the name Ted Tao Tao tattooed across his stomach. I'm telling you guys, the problem is ice makes you stupid. Ice will make you stupid and make you smell like cat pee. But the other thing is it makes you think everybody else is just as dumb as you are. No, my name's John Cruz. Wonder if the guy with the car, you remember the dude that stole all that stuff from the guy's backyard and drove away with his family name emblazoned in the back of the car? Just brilliant, just brilliant. You know, we need bigger jails. That's all there is to it. 7 o'clock in the morning, and it's the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3. Montesilva's got your big news and headlines coming up here in just a little bit. We'll take a look at the markets, and it's going to be a quick look at the markets. It's not good anywhere. Dow Jones Industrial Average absolutely in the tank. This is one of those days where you go, close the market before it gets worse. And it is worse. At the Nikkei, I'll give you those numbers here in just a little bit. Fox News Live, Mona's coming up next. Jerry Roberts got the extra point ahead right here on The Ray Gibson Show.
This is a Fox News alert. Back-to-back dives on Wall Street. I'm Lisa Brady. The Dow down 877 points at the closing bell, a sell-off fueled again by the global economic ripple effects of the coronavirus, already impacting industries like travel and tourism, but also the supply chains of many companies.
It's a run-on effect because you can't get any sense of when is this going to come to an end? When can we finally look into the future and say, well, here is the point where we can pick up, because we cannot do that because we don't know where we go from here.
Fox Business Network's Ashley Webster, the Dow finishing above 27K. The S&P and the NASDAQ also down over 2%. The Trump administration is asking Congress for more than $2 billion in emergency funding. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, the request comes as 57 cases are being watched of coronavirus in the U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar says 14 were diagnosed here. 3 are in patients brought back from Wuhan, China.
And we have 40 cases among American passengers repatriated from the Diamond Princess in Japan.
As the virus approaches pandemic status worldwide, Dr. Anthony Fauci of the National Institutes of Health says vaccine development is moving quickly. In fact, with no delays, he projects
that we would be in a human trial, I would say, within a month and a half.
Health officials still say they believe spread of coronavirus in the U.S. is low. Lisa.
Worldwide, Gernal, over 80,000 cases now. Italy's jumping quickly to more than 300. The Dow and the S&P actually down more than 3%. In Mississippi, a man's just been convicted of killing 8 people, including some of his own relatives, and a deputy sheriff who responded to a domestic disturbance call in 2017. Prosecutors say the shootings began after 37-year-old Willie Godbold argued with his estranged wife about their children. America is listening to Fox News.
Yikes, are those Christmas bills coming in? Wait, hold on, that was last month. Now it's this month. But by popular demand, we're extending our New Year's solution 4.65% personal loan through February. Money for whatever you want at 4.65% APR from Bank Pacific. We're still celebrating.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal credit opportunity lender as low as 4.65%. Conditions apply.
Chili's has the seafood you crave, the flavors you love this Lenten season. Indulge in Lent-friendly soups, salads, appetizers, and entree options like our baked potato soup, barbecue shrimp salad, Cajun shrimp pasta, our flavorful grilled ancho salmon, or our black bean burger options like mushroom Swiss or the classic old timer. Come in and taste all the Lent-friendly flavors this Lenten season. Available for limited time. We're located on the second floor of Tumon Sands Plaza. Chili's, savor the moment.
The largest vaping company in the U.S., Juul Labs, reportedly developing a new vape device that locks and can't be unlocked until the user can prove they're at least 21 years old.
The Wall Street Journal reports Juul is already launching the lockable vaping devices for the UK and Canada, connected to a mobile app where users have to submit a government ID and photo when they first log on. The app can also track your nicotine consumption. The San Francisco-based vaping giant working on a plan for FDA regulators. Juul won't comment, but the Journal says it's over 250,000 pages, laying out scientific studies, a new marketing campaign, and documents detailing efforts to limit sales to minors. With help from Marlboro maker Altria, the Virginia tobacco giant that owns a 35% stake in Juul. Therese Crowley, Fox News.
Well, Juul is facing multiple lawsuits accused of targeting underage e-cigarette users, which the company denies. Today, a coalition of 39 states announced an investigation of Juul's marketing practices and claims. The coronavirus could scuttle the Olympics.
Japan's health minister saying it's too early to talk about cancelling this summer's Olympic Games in Tokyo. But a senior member of the International Olympic Committee says the clock is ticking. Dick Pound estimating there's a 3-month window to decide the Games' fate, telling the Associated Press a cancellation would likely need to be called by late May, although he stresses all signs so far indicate the Olympics are on and that athletes should keep training. Simon Owen, Fox News.
Recapping the virus-driven sell-off on Wall Street, the Dow down 879 today, more than 1,900 points in 2 days. Just today, the Dow and the S&P over 3% lower. The NASDAQ also selling off and falling back under 9,000. The Dow finishing right around 27,081. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
February 27th, it's the last call for leadership.
If you want to add value to people, you have to know and relate to what other people value. You see, great leaders are first of all listeners, and then they're learners, and then they're leaders.
The voice of John C. Maxwell, who leads a team of world-class speakers on the last chance to see the Live to Lead conference in November. Over 300 leaders and future leaders experienced a day full of big ideas, fun, and high-level motivation. For those who couldn't make it, we're doing it again. Registration closes soon. Get the details at GuamTraining.com. Live to Lead is brought to you by Atkins Kroll, Guam's #1 car dealership. Also by Personal Finance Center and the Guam Chamber of Commerce. Energize your team. Join the Guam Live to Lead conference today.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. I know you love our KFC shrimp burger, so I'm bringing it back, along with our one-of-a-kind shrimp and crab Kelligwin. Take a break from your usual fish fillet sandwich and try our big selection of KFC seafood items. And, of course, we cannot forget your one and only favorite KFC original recipe chicken, too. Hurry in this Lenten season. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
With a new decade, there are new opportunities. And with new opportunities, there is always a chance to say yes. Yes to that car. Yes to that business venture. Yes to that new house. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Your 7 o'clock news is brought to you by Horizon Properties.
Off a day and good morning, Guam. It's 7:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron with her look at local news. From the Guam Daily Post, Korean Air has confirmed a member of its cabin crew has tested positive for the coronavirus, and as a result, Korean Air has shut down its office near the Incheon International Airport. The Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention notified the airline of the employee confirmed to have been infected. The U.S. CDC also issued a warning level 3. That means Americans are urged to avoid all non-essential travel to South Korea because of widespread community transmission. South Korea has confirmed 893 people have tested positive for the coronavirus, which is the highest number of cases for any country outside of China. Now, Guam doesn't have a single confirmed case of the coronavirus, but the global fear has adversely affected our local tourism industry with more than 15,000 cancellations from visitors. Meanwhile, even more Korea-Guam flights have been canceled this week. As of yesterday, the airport confirmed a total of 82 flights between South Korea and Guam have been canceled from February 14th through March 15th. South Korea accounts for the bulk of tourist arrivals on Guam. Well, the Department of Public Health and Social Services has deemed the Dededo swimming pool an imminent health hazard after inspectors with the Division of Environmental Health conducted an inspection on Monday and recommended the pool's closure until nearly 24 issues are addressed. According to the inspection results, the combined chlorine levels were above the required limit, and the water in the deep end of the pool was still cloudy and green, preventing a clear view of the main drain. There were a slew of other demerits listed. Canton Construction Corporation was given a $660,000 contract to maintain and operate the Dededo and Hagutnya swimming pools. The contract issued in the previous administration. As a result, the governor and Parks and Rec have decided to terminate the contract with Canton because of their inability to keep the pools clean and open. Elsewhere in the news, the Attorney General has filed a civil lawsuit against several members and former members of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. The suit alleges violations of the open government law. During a 2015 closed-door meeting, the CCU members decided on a $28,000 raise for the GWA general manager. The OPA recommended that the CCU take corrective action to seek repayment of these funds, but the CCU instead held a special meeting to retroactively approve the bonuses and raises that it had given in closed-door meetings. AG Levin Camacho now says in order to regain the public's trust in the government, they can't treat repeated violations of the laws as business as usual. Camacho adds that they will hold people accountable and despite being the last resort, sometimes it will require that they take these matters to court. The commissioners could not be reached for comment. More news after this.
Rent, lease. What does Horizon do for you? Here's a clue. Advertising, marketing, screening, inspecting, instructing, leasing and signing, collecting and complying, inquiring and assessing, coordinating, repairing, renewing, enforcing, evicting, moving, cleaning, rekeying, communicating. Do it yourself and you'll find it taxing. We work hard to keep the vacancies low, so at the end of the month, you collect the dough. Proven and trusted. Horizon Properties. We do it all. 777-7792.
A man accused in a knife incident in Sinahanya earlier this month was indicted by a Superior Court of Guam grand jury. 21-year-old Tommyson Nikot faces charges of aggravated assault as a second-degree felony and twice with aggravated assault as a third-degree felony. Each charge includes a special allegation of possession or use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. He is scheduled to be arraigned today. Nikot is alleged to have thrown a knife into a passing vehicle, injuring a female passenger. Susan Mata won't have to spend any time in prison after a Superior Court of Guam judge on Monday issued a decision, the judge giving her a 2-year suspended prison sentence with credit for time served. Judge Anita Secola placed Mata on 5 years probation. Details of her plea agreement with the government have not been made public. The agreement was filed under seal. In 2018, Mata was caught with methamphetamine and marijuana and thousands of dollars in cash after being pulled over by Guam police. And today is Ash Wednesday, which according to tradition is practiced primarily by Catholics. It's the start of the Lenten season and a time for fasting and prayer. Thousands of people will attend one of the many masses scheduled throughout the day. The schedule can be found in the Guam Daily Post. And those are some of your headlines from the Daily Post. Here now is Ray with your weather.
And if somebody comes up to you at Ash Wednesday Mass and asks for your vote, just no. Just wait and just wipe the thing off their head. That's not where you're supposed to go. Partly cloudy skies and isolated showers. East winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Daytime highs today are going to be about 87 degrees. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies and another maybe on some showers. Winds east 15 to 20 miles an hour. Expected overnight lows should be about 75 degrees. We got sunrise this morning was at 6:40. We got sunset tonight at roughly 6:30, 6:28 if you want to be precise. So if you're one of those guys that's going to line up for a sunset, I would start getting there about 5:30 or so and get a good spot. We've also got a high risk of rip currents along east-facing reefs, so be careful. A little bit crispy out in the highlands of the island, out in the Savannah land, so be careful with any kind of fire or open burning, would you? 7:12 in the morning, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
Subway's got fresh choices for this Lenten season. Sink your teeth into the savory goodness of our shrimp and guacamole spinach wrap. Or go green with our delicious Veggie Max, a delicious vegetarian patty, free of artificial colors and flavors. Don't forget the classics like the tuna or seafood sensation subs, all made with freshly sliced vegetables, prepared daily in every restaurant. Visit any of our convenient locations today. Subway, make it what you want.
Docomo Pacific wants to keep your business connected. When you sign up for a smart business bundle, you're gaining more than just mobile, internet, and phone services. Receive unbeatable value for your money and the convenience of having it all on one bill. All your business services on the widest and fastest network in Guam and the Marianas. Call 688-2677 for more information on partnering your business. Docomo Pacific Business, delivering your future today.
Yeah, thank you so much. 7:13 portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines, a global presence with a local home, and the guys over at Wendy's. And I told you, I predicted that I was going to get this copy in my hand, and I love it because it's one of my favorite deals about Lent is at Wendy's. They bring in the cod fillet, North Pacific cod fish sandwich back in town for a limited time. Panko crusted. And it is panko. They don't just use regular breadcrumbs when they put this thing together. It's Japanese panko bread crumbs that they use. So we got that, and that gives it a nice little crunch on the way in. North Pacific cod fried to a golden brown, and then dill pickles. And I know what you're waiting for. Dill pickles and a fish sandwich? Yes, yes, dill pickles. Ask for extra. And tartar sauce, and then they put everything in a warm bun. This really is good. Have it in a combo with fries and strawberry iced tea. You ever have the lemonade over at Wendy's?
Yes.
Okay, so here's the thing. You drink half of it.
Yes.
And then fill the rest up with fill it back up with ice water, and it will taste exactly the same. It's just so lemony and so sweet in there. You can dilute that a couple of times and still enjoy it. Panko crusted fish fillets. It's quick, simple quality at Wendy's. Now that's better.
Morning talk that matters. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Where do you get started? This is supposed to be like a business segment of the program. Jerry Roberts got the extra point coming up before too much longer, and we'll get around to doing some of that and talk about some of the stuff that I think is interesting in terms of business in this community. A couple of things that I think you should already know about, and that is the get together that the girls are going to be having March 5th, Dusitani, Guam, 8 until 5. It's the Fanatsu Famulaan Women Rising Conference. Chloe Kernahan, Marietta Limuaco, Jessica Ignacia Mesa, and Eveline Kempis are going to be among the speakers there that are going to be taking you through their journeys in business. There'll be refreshments all day, pop-up shops featuring local brands, beauty and wellness lounge, a beauty and wellness lounge. Okay, so there's going to be a conversation in there about eyelashes. Less is more, as far as I know you want you're taking chances on some of the big eyelash. These things I've seen them coming out 3/4 of full inch, and I'm thinking that's just no. Just a little bit more than what God gave you, I think, is all you need to be just absolutely stunning.
An inch?
Yes.
An inch?
You haven't seen it?
No.
You're not looking hard enough. Okay, so I look.
And they just cover like a little swatch right here.
I look because
your eyes look heavy and
I'm a flirt. So if I see somebody that has got pretty eyelashes, I'll generally say so, unless they're like big, oh my God, mama eyelashes.
Industrial strength.
Yeah, and then I just kind of finish things up here. And then the sound of the 7-day bracelets, etc.
Wait a second. Are you talking something that says, are you like this?
What? Yeah, like that. That's exactly what they look like on some people's eyes.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see it on the thing. Anyway, so I'm just saying. Sometimes you go for the gusto, sometimes it's a good eye, especially if you're going to mass. because it will just distract Pully today as he's trying to put the cross, the sign of the cross on your forehead, because it is Ash Wednesday. All right, so before we get to, because I'll forget, I got to take a look at what happened on the markets here, and none of it is good. None of it is good here. We've got the S&P 500 off by almost 100 points. It's not a big market to begin with. Can't take that kind of loss. 31.28 is where they are at. The NASDAQ at 89.65. They're off by 256 points. Dow Jones Industrial Average, greatest suffering in the American markets today, 27,081. They have lost, just in the last couple of days, almost 2,000 points. 879 points off for today on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And we've got red all over the market report here today. The FTSE is at 70.17, off by 138. The Nikkei lost 781 points overnight here, closing at 22,605. That's the Japanese market. Shanghai market at 30.13. They're off by 18 points. And the where did I say? The other ones here, the DAX off by 244 points. But the biggest loser by far is going to be the Dow Jones Industrial Average. News floating around here: Bob Iger is going to step down as the Disney CEO effective now.
Right now.
I'll get you details on that in just a little bit. And one of the other stories that is out there, and somebody will tie this headline with other conversations that we've got here and say, that's it, this end of the world. We've got the coronavirus lapping at our shores here, as some might put it, because now we've got a Korean Air flight, a flight attendant, member of the flight crew, that has come down with it. We have no idea where it is that this person had been traveling, but it is possible, even if they didn't come to Guam, they might have been knocking around the airport lounge in Incheon together and exposing somebody else to the coronavirus that did come to Guam. So they're going to have to do that kind of 6 degrees of separation thing to sort out if it's possible that this person could have made his or her way through here. Jack was on the radio with me yesterday, late in the program, talking about he heard about a guy that came in from Korea, which is okay. I mean, we haven't done anything with those passengers to Guam. Made it through the screening process there and here, but he had apparently been in China prior to going to Korea on his way to Guam with no quarantine period in between. So that guy is possibly running around the island right now. So there's a lot of reasons to be apprehensive about this. Coronavirus over there, and in Africa, locusts. Locusts. In recent days, locust swarms have begun to impact South Sudan, Uganda, and Tanzania, having already decimated crops throughout Ethiopia, Kenya, and Somalia, Eritrea, and Djibouti. Moody said the infestation will test existing food storage in fragile Horn of Africa countries and add to inflationary pressures given the relatively high proportion of food in the consumer price index basket. Desert locusts can travel up to 150 kilometers. That's about 95 miles a day. And 1 square kilometer swarm can devour as much food as 35,000 people in one day. That's information that comes to us from the United Nations. So you've got the locust over there and a plague over here.
95 miles a day?
That's a lot, Bo.
The seventh seal has been broken.
Those guys are moving.
Which that's 2 of the how many horses in the apocalypse that we get a pestilence?
4.
And yeah. So 720. Somebody out there with better knowledge of that book in the Bible needs to get up on the Facebook Live and tell me what you see in there, and maybe help me exaggerate this situation even more.
I would say just get on good terms with the Lord.
Amen to that. We should always be on good terms with the Lord. As a matter of fact, if you're looking for a job, I found one. It's with Good Day Coordinating. I don't know what it sounds like. Wedding coordinators here. They're looking for a general manager. This is amazing because it's actually being advertised, right? Normally general manager jobs, that's the kind of thing you hear about from a friend over at the golf course, and you get signed up before anybody else hears about it. But this guy will hold the highest level management position in the company, responsible for directing all the business affairs and ensuring that the business enterprise operates effectively and profitably. We'll have full authority to develop and implement company policies and procedures to direct the business operations in such a manner as to increase market share, to negotiate and execute contracts on behalf of the company, to decide all personnel matters, including hiring, firing, reassignments, duties, and wage rate. I'm tired already. And to determine how best to apply personnel and resources. Standard general manager packet, right?
Pretty nice, huh?
Yeah. It doesn't say anything about what you're going to make in this job.
I saw an ad maybe 10 years ago, one of those kinds of ads that was in the classified, and at the bottom it said starting pay $12 an hour.
Yeah.
And I said, wait a minute there. All this, $12 an hour? Really? Okay.
Yeah, $12 an hour used to be a lot of money to some people. If you're interested, well, first of all, here's the qualifications. Applicants for the position must possess a minimum of an associate's degree or equivalent in video production and 2 years practical experience in video production and coordination. Applicants must also have the ability to speak, read, and write in English and Japanese. And this may eliminate, because now it's like video guys, right? Now I know what they're shooting for is they're looking for guys to do video. Most of the people that you and I know that would apply, this is going to knock them out. Drug testing and background checks are required. Sorry, you had me right up to there. I was good right up until you said there's got to be drug testing and background checks.
You have the Japanese down?
Oh, you can fake Japanese. Did you know? You didn't know that? No, it's a little known fact about and Carl Pangolina knows because we're fans of the Karakuchi.
Don't just lay it out there. Give an example.
No, you don't need an example. I'll tell you how to do it.
Tell me how to do it.
You drink enough Asahi Super Dry, you can understand Japanese. You drink more than a 6-pack of Asahi Super Dry or Asahi Blue, you can read Japanese.
Okay.
You don't have to believe me, and I know you won't try, but I'm just saying. It's 7:23 in the morning, and that's all the time we got. Oh, no, I forgot with the one last big markets, all right? So if it is the end of the world, if it is Armageddon, if we are facing the great cataclysms here, earthquakes.
If this is it.
Yeah, if this is it, we'll at least have cheaper gas. We might have cheaper gas here. Tapas is off. $63.42 was the last time I wrote it down. Now trading at $61.53.
Are you serious? That's $2.
About,
They should be changing those prices right now as we speak.
But before you get coronavirus, put your mask on and wash your hands. 51.53 for West Texas crude the other day. Today,
in the 40s?
$49.80. Yeah. So all of that might be happening. There might be the clouds and fire and brimstone lining up against us, but at least the oil is getting cheaper, and I think that's good news. That's something for the generation. So when it is Armageddon, when we are completely post-apocalyptic.
Well, this is it, right?
What do you think you're going to miss the most? After the big bright flash, or after the last of the coronavirus victims has died, and the locusts have eaten the last of the wheat in Africa. What are you going to miss the most about civilized and polite society in 2020?
Hearing your voice on the intro to the Extra Point. That's all I live for.
That's it. I was thinking maybe air conditioning. I think hot water baths and air conditioning. It's all the same stuff that we miss after a typhoon.
Well, I think we all think about family in those moments.
Yeah,
that's it, right?
Yeah, we're all
nothing else matters.
All in the same room here at the same time, staring at each other because we don't have internet anymore. It's 7:25, and it must be time for Jerry Roberts to deliver the Extra Point. I get the hint. Being brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and the team over at First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
Are you a person who loves excuses? Do you ever make excuses, Ray?
Only for myself, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Mana?
All the time.
I was injured.
Good.
Yes.
Real Joe?
Every day.
Well, then I'm here for you today because
right.
I've got them all. People who do not succeed almost all, and I'm not saying that you don't, but people who do not succeed almost always share one distinguishing trait in common. They've got alibis to explain away their own lack of achievement. And today, we'll check those alibis off on the Extra Point.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
We buy a homeowner's policy and never give it another thought until something happens. Life brings changes, and our coverage needs can change. The smart thing to do is get the answers and level up our insurance to make sure we're totally protected.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahan Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
With a new decade, there are new opportunities. And with new opportunities, there is always a chance to say yes. Yes to that car. Yes to that business venture. Yes to that new house. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
If you've ever made it to the tail end of Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, you've seen the 57 alibis from Old Man If. It's a classic within a classic and really covers most of the excuses we give for why we don't get to where we say we want to go in life. Now, we may not get all 57 in, but here goes. If I didn't have a wife and family, if I had enough pull, if I had money, If I had a good education, if I could get a job, if I had good health, if I only had time, if times were better, if other people understood me, if conditions around me were only different, if I could live my life over again, if I did not fear what they would say, if I'd been given a chance, if I now had a chance, if other people didn't have it in for me, if nothing happens to stop me, if I were only younger, if I could only do what I want, if I'd been born rich, if I could meet the right people, if I had the talent that some people have, if I dared assert myself, if I only had embraced past opportunities, if people didn't get on my nerves, if I didn't have children to look after, if I could save some money, if only the boss had appreciated me, if I only had somebody to help me, if my family understood me, if I lived in a big city, if I could just get started, if I were only free, if I had the personality of some people, if I were not so fat, if my talents were known, if I could just get a break, if I could only get out of debt, if I hadn't failed, if I only knew how, if everybody didn't oppose me, if I didn't have so many worries, if I could marry the right person, if people weren't so dumb, if my family were not so extravagant, if I were sure of myself, if luck were not against me, if I had not been born under the wrong star, if it were not true that what is to be will be, if I did not have to work so hard, if I hadn't lost my money, if I lived in a different neighborhood, if I didn't have a past, if I only had a business of my own, if other people would only listen to me, if, and this is the greatest of them all, if I had the courage to see myself as I really am, that I could make the changes needed to get my life moving in a better direction. Forget the if game. We have the power and ability to make positive changes right now. Don't worry about what you feel you can't do. Focus on what you can do, and then do it. That's the extra point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank.
Right.
I'm Jerry Roberts.
Excellent, excellent. As usual, extra point there, and take that to heart. I like the way you put it. It's a classic in a classic. Think and Grow Rich. It's one of my favorite books, and I remember it was John Anderson who first turned me on to that book, and he reminded me, he says, on every single page, there's a lesson.
It's incredible.
And I said, really? And he says, yeah, you look at the bottom of every single page, there's the words think and grow rich. The title of the book is the lesson that you can get on every single page.
That's
Just
right.
think and throw some more items over on the asset side and less on the expenses side and liability side. You should be all right. 7:30 in the morning. That's Jerry Roberts. That's the extra point. Being brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes. About time for us to take another look at news being brought to you here by Lolita Kemet of Remax Diamond Realty for all of your real estate needs. Call Auntie Loli at 688-6743. That's 688-6743. Now time for news. With news from the Guam Daily Post, here's Mana Silva Tyron.
More flights have been canceled this week amidst fears over the coronavirus. Already 82 between Guam and South Korea. And today, news of a crew member from Korean Air testing positive for the coronavirus. The Incheon International Airport has shut down the Korean Air office, and more flights have been canceled to Guam. The U.S. CDC also issuing a warning level 3. That means Americans are urged to avoid all non-essential travel to South Korea. The Attorney General filed a lawsuit against several members and former members of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities, a suit alleging violations of the open government law. During a 2015 closed-door meeting, the CCU members decided on a raise for the GWA general manager. The OPA recommended that the CCU take corrective action and seek repayment of that money. But the CCU instead held a special meeting to retroactively approve the bonuses and raises it had given previously in closed-door meetings. And the year 2020 has been declared the Year of the Chamorro. A proclamation was signed by the governor this week. Guam and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands are the only places we can exercise our indigenous identity as Chamorros freely without encumbrance, according to the proclamation. This year's theme is Be Enlightened, Be Informed, Rise. And those are some of your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, pick up a copy of the paper or log on to their website at postguam.com.
Roger that. 7:31 iConnect time. Swing by the iConnect over at the Micronesia Mall and check out the OnePlus 7T. OnePlus is the brand. 7T is the model that you can find there. Don't want to spend up for an Apple, but still want some of the capabilities of these great smartphones that are out there, like the Samsungs, etc. You are going to love this OnePlus 7T. Like I said, all the great Amazon Android features without that big price tag. And it's unlocked, so you can use it anywhere you want to. The OnePlus 7T waiting for you to go check it out over at iConnect at the Micronesia Mall.
Lolita Cammett from RE/MAX Diamond Realty, a friendly, hardworking, and passionate RE/MAX professional, is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and to helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Cammett from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
I got you. Portions of the program being brought to you by the guys over at Mescla, and it being first day of Lent and Ash Wednesday and all of that. You can have the Southern Spice crispy fried chicken, but you're going to go to hell when at the end of the Armageddon, and they're going to remember that it was Ash Wednesday and you ate chicken. Now you want to go to Mescla, you don't want to go to hell. Shrimp hash crusted parrotfish. Told you about this yesterday. Parrotfish fillets crusted with a shrimp farce. That's the shrimp hash. Then they cook it twice, serve it over basil lay sweet potato croquette, and a crab and corned beef sauce. I've seen the pictures of it, and the pictures look great. And because I know it's from Mescla, I know it's going to taste even better than it looks. Find them in Agana and now in Tumon at the Grand Plaza Hotel. Make reservations for Mescla, not hell, 969-2652. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hafaday, this is Congressman Michael Nicholas. Our veterans deserve the best, and I'm working hard to make sure they receive what they earned defending our freedom. If you need help receiving the benefits you earned from the VA or the Defense Department, please call my office at 475-6453 or go online at stnicholas.house.gov. On behalf of a grateful community, thank you for your service.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the office of Congressman Michael Nicholas.
Multiple ugliness on Marine Corps Drive southbound up in Dededo, up Pau Pau on the way into Waisang Song. It opens up. You run into the clear for a long time until you get to 1 and 3. Although, interestingly, it's not so bad coming off of Route 3. Apparently, everybody has decided to stay home. Jollibee intersection looking pretty clear over at the Micronesia Mall, the intersection of 10 and 16. A little bit busy as people are trying to make their way in both directions across the street there. 8, 10, and 16 running fairly clear right now, which is why I'm kind of freaking out. 7:34. It should be a lot busier out there these days. A lot of intersection traffic. You're going to find a whole bunch of folks waiting on you to head north and southbound on Ipao Road over by the Talaverde Estates and the guys over at the generator place running real busy over in that direction. Also, Chell and San Antonio, it's busy over by the schools, as you might imagine, and the intersections of 1 and Sal and San Antonio. A little bit of traffic over by just before you get to Hospital Road. That's on Marine Corps Drive. Route 8 running, I don't know if I say running clear, but the usual spots, the intersections are going to slow you down. Same thing on Route 4 into the downtown Agutnia area. Now, I mentioned that was... Okay, thank you so much. I'm getting a deal in here. I was looking for information because I wanted to find out if Mike Limtiaco was part of the Attorney General's lawsuit. He should not be, because all of those meetings that took place
2015.
Right before he was a member of the commission. So he's scot-free. So which means he should be able to talk to us. All right, I got traffic inbound from the front side of the Agana Shopping Center's auxiliary parking lot all the way to the intersection. You are going to see some slowdowns at that intersection because they're doing some construction. Also on the middle lane that'll take you out to Chief Kipuha Circle. Expect some delays through there. And the southern entrance to the Kipuha Loop is also running a little bit busy. A lot going on there in the downtown Agutnia area. 736 in fact, you can see that. You can see the slowing down there from over at the Bank of Hawaii. Right? See, this is how I'm going to segue into the sponsor mention. Traffic reports. Right now, traffic on the point are being brought to you by Bank of Hawaii. Welcome to tomorrow.
Thanks to Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii, people are discovering some of the lowest mortgage rates in years, right on their smartphones. Rates are in the threes? And with Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii, you can apply online, even for a VA loan, or sit down with one of our mortgage experts.
We should apply now.
Check rates and apply online today with Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii. Visit BOH.com/mortgage. Bank of Hawaii. Welcome to tomorrow. Equal housing lender.
Injury. Maybe save your life. The Takata airbags installed in certain Toyotas can explode and shoot out sharp metal fragments at people inside the vehicle. You don't need to be in a collision. They could explode any time. In the U.S., these airbags have caused 26 deaths. There's been a worldwide recall of Takata airbags, and most have had the faulty parts replaced. But here in Guam, there are still over 3,000 Toyotas on the road with potentially lethal airbags, and yours could be one of them. So please, take your Toyota to Atkins Grow, even if you didn't buy it from us, and get the inflator replaced. It costs you nothing, it takes just about an hour, and it could save a life, yours or someone you love. The AK song says we're here for life. That's never been more true.
At Atkins Grow, we're here for life.
Hi, Ray Gibson Show, 7:37 in the morning, portions of it being brought to you by my team over at Guam Regional Medical City, first choice for all of your specialty care needs, maybe even coronavirus, huh? And the guys over at Denny's, what the heck, if it's your last meal, I'm sorry, I got to stop doing that. You're looking for a Lenten meal, that's what I was trying to say. Run over there and try the tofu omelet, which is good, the nacho cheese fries, we got shrimp, egg foo young, and all kinds of other meals that will meet your Lenten requirements. Find that at Denny's. Times about a book I read a few years ago called, what is it, 30 Seconds Later. It's a story about an atomic bomb that is dropped fairly high altitude over the United States mainland, and the EMP wipes everything out. Airplanes fall from the skies, cars don't work anymore, electrical generation doesn't work anymore, water stops running out of the pipes. You got insulin, you find a way to keep it colder, you're going to die. You'll be among the first. And in fact, they calculate how many people would die off as a result of that kind of apocalyptic activity, just from being overweight, from being out of shape, from being, not having access to anything other than processed foods, and the numbers there can get kind of staggering. So ponder that, and I only bring it up because I am kind of curious if it came down to that, what would you miss? I mean, yeah, and I suppose maybe would throw that into a whole Lenten litany thing of, you got to be appreciative. You got to be thankful for what you got. Imagine if without any kind of warning, no lead up, no kind of preamble, all of a sudden your life is turned upside down, and we are all of us crashed back into what would be the Stone Age with nice clothes. That's it. That for as long as we could keep them nice. How did people live? I was in a conversation with somebody, and we were talking about superpowers, abilities that we'd like to have. If we could level up and have an ability, what would yours be?
I'd like to fly.
Flying?
Yeah.
Mana. Superhero capabilities. And not, current superhero, just an ability.
I'd like to be able to tell the future.
Tell the future. Ooh. Time travel. I'm a nut for time travel. Ask anybody about it. I'd like to go back in time. You know what? I'd love to meet our grandparents when they were young, where they were newlyweds. I was born after
you would ruin it for them.
I'm sure I would. Yeah,
They'd be like, this is our future. Let's stop right here.
Yeah, nice knowing you. Go back to preschool, Daddy. 7:40. I'd love to meet my great grandfather. He died before I was able to meet him, but I've always heard nice things about him. But also I'd like to be able to go back in time at Guam in the 1910s, 1920s. Where there really wasn't much by way of running water or electricity or any of that stuff. How did people live around here? What if we had to go back to doing it now? And you run into a certain kind of food security and sustainability. You think about an island like Guam, 27 miles top to bottom, 8 where she's wide, 4 where she's narrow, and all of the different farms and the agriculture that we had to support a population of what, 20,000 people, 25,000 people? You got 165,000 people that live here on Guam right now, based on the last count. We got enough farmland to take care of them. Do we have enough fish in the ocean to take care of them? Are there enough coconuts in our rhino beetle infested trees to be able to at least keep people eating coconuts for a couple of days? Yeah. That's why we gun up. 7:41 in the morning, 888-8255. So what would you miss the most, I guess, is the question. So ponder that and put that into your own spiritual thing. My buddy Ken Leon Guerrero's online. That's the other Governor Leon Guerrero at 7:41. Good morning, buddy. How you doing?
I am excited today.
You're excited?
Yes, the Attorney General is actually stepping out of his office and filing paperwork in court. It's exciting. Of course, he's not going after drug dealers or anything like that. He's going after the Commission on Utilities.
The Consolidated Commission on Utilities. Yeah, a bunch of them in trouble. I haven't seen the documentation, but I was asking around to find out who was on it. It looks like Simon Joey Francis, George Bamba, and Pedro Guerrero are in. Mike Limtiaco is not, because this is his first term as a commissioner. As near as anybody can tell, he hasn't stepped in any puddles yet. And Judy was not a member of the commission at the time. So,
well, I'm excited about it because if we take the same criteria and apply it to the Mayor's Council of Guam that met in secret session without public notice and gave Angel Sablon about a 100% pay raise.
well, I'd remind you that this was done with the assistance of the offices of the public auditor and public accountability. I know that he's done some audits. Has he actually taken a look at the Mayor's Council to determine whether or not they were in violation of any open government laws that might have been in effect?
I've sent information to him. I sent it to the Office of Public Accountability, and I sent it to Jose Terlahi at the legislature requesting an oversight. And he informed me that rather than do an oversight, which does nothing, he has forwarded all my information to the Office of the Attorney General.
So maybe after this. So maybe after this, he's taken the Consolidated Commission on Utilities to task in this civil case. Maybe that would be the next thing that he picks up.
Well, that's my hope there, because at some point in time, we got to go back and start addressing the biggest problem we have with these different boards and commissions, which is their willingness to give extravagant pay raises for nothing to political appointees.
Well, okay, so let's define what your justice is in this case. The way they view justice over at the CCU, and I don't have the benefit of having one of them on the line with me right now, but the way they have determined justice is going to be, yes, we stepped out of line in these pay raises. We've stepped out of line in the job offers that we gave people that should have been noticed, that should have been done out in front of the public, and we did not. So, therefore, we're in violation. So what they've done now is redone the meetings the way they were supposed to have been done, noticed, et cetera, and out in the public, and have come up with the same conclusions. What the OPA and I think the Attorney General's office wanted to do was to have these people give back any raises that they had earned or that they were given. Now, you want to see one or the other or both? Because I don't know if you can see both. I mean, it's all they did was they came through and said, "Okay, we made a mistake, and this is how we're going to correct it. We will notice the meetings. We will go ahead and hold them in public where everybody can see what's happening, and we're going to come up with the same candidates for the same roles at the same rates. Therefore, we don't have to ask them to give anything back."
No, that is what we asked for.
Okay, so that's what you want. All right, so because with Angel, because that's what's going to happen. If the same thing happens now, that's what the Mayor's Council is going to do, is they will just notice the meeting, and they'll go ahead and have it out in public, and then Angel's still going to get the raise, as opposed to what I thought I was hearing from you, which is you want him to give the money back. Because you don't think that job is worth that kind of money.
Well, here's the difference. You see, when he gives the money back and the public gets an opportunity to testify, then the process will be met and the public will be satisfied, because we got a chance to speak in. But we didn't get a chance when he got the raises, and we didn't get a chance when the PUC got the raises. Now, the PUC, they went back, they reopened the meetings, they announced them, testimony was given, but they still went ahead and gave the raises, which they'll have to answer for at the ballot. But at the mayor's council, it's if they do the same thing, they have Angel Sablon go back and give back all the retroactive pay raises, which will be considerable, and then hold public meetings where people like me and other people can come in and testify as to whether or not we think doubling the administrator's salary is worth it to the public. Then the mayors, if they go ahead and do it, they'll have to answer for it at the ballot box.
Only if somebody runs against them. Then you got the ones. Then you got the ones that are shielded by staggered terms.
I don't think any of them are shielded by staggered terms. Not at the mayor's club.
No, aren't there?
Nope.
They all run simultaneously?
They all run simultaneously.
I got to double check on that. 747. Well, but it is whatever it is what it is. And I don't know, just the wayward lost government that we seem to have around here these days, and the conversation about we're going to go ahead and pool all of our resources here, including the private sector, and we're going to have universal health care for all. And all of my Bernie for Guam fans or Guam for Bernie fans came out of the woodwork going, yes, hooray, hurrah. What happened to the Lulian Guerrero that was talking to conservative values and conservative thoughts when she was running for office? Now all of a sudden she wants to go in universal health care, same direction as Obamacare. That worked out.
Well, as you know, I've been pushing for an improved health care system on Guam. I don't think that is it. I think the Hawaii model would be better for Guam than something like that. And if you're familiar with the Hawaii model, the Hawaii model is basically if you have 5 or more employees, you have to provide a basic level of medical care for your employees.
All right.
And it doesn't matter if they're part-time or full-time, and the premium that you charge them is a percentage of their base pay. So that way, if you're providing the benefits for part-time people, it's the same as if they'd been full-time, but it'd be proportional. And that's why Hawaii has 97% coverage on their working people, whereas here on Guam we're at 25.
I thought I'd seen some of those numbers years and years ago when they first started talking about the concepts of universal health care and the different versions of it that we had, and I do recall kind of liking that one to the degree that the businesses ought to have those kinds of plans for their employees, but I just worry about the word mandate and how much of that is going to be a part of the conversation, because they're saying, oh, we're just going to we're going to get the buy-in from the private sector, and the buy-in from the private sector from Obama terms ended up to be a tax for everybody.
Well, as you know, in Hawaii, the way it was set up, it was run through private insurance companies. Businesses could pick which insurance company they wanted, and all the insurance companies had to do is offer a basic benefit package. They could offer more, but they couldn't offer less.
Yeah.
And companies could go around and shop. Our company, every 2 or 3 years, we would request proposals from all the different health insurance companies in Hawaii, and we'd review the proposals, and we'd pick the company that we thought was offering the best package for the dollar. And that's something that Frank Capilla was talking about in the testimony on the health care.
Oh, yeah, as long as you can negotiate that kind of thing, to whatever degree you can negotiate, here's the basic package, and let's define what that basic package is, but it doesn't have to be something as, $1,000 a month, because somebody still has to pay for it. 10 away from the top of the hour. Ken, I got to run. I got a bigger name on line 2. I'll talk to you. He doesn't even say goodbye when I do that. I just see just so insulted and ticked off when I do that.
I get a kick every time you do that.
What is he? It is a bigger name, isn't he? This guy's got the guy from Gura, for heaven's sakes, Ray Tapazna, and the reason why I got reanalyzed, a couple of things. They came out with an assessment, a needs assessment for housing here on Guam, and it's 100 pages long. And I was looking at it this morning, going, "There's no Cliff Notes on this. There needs to be the executive summary on it." And there's a whole gaggle of of tables that I know are going to be interesting. And I promise, Ray, I promise you I will print it out and read it at my leisure at some point, because I think some of the information, the deep data, the big data that you've got in the tables, I think is going to be as interesting as the conclusions that you have drawn. But let me, Ray, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ray, let me.
Ray, I won't hang up on you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Even if I say there's a bigger name on one. I was watching on Facebook this morning, and they've got a page there, Tomorrow People on Facebook, and they're generally a lot of people that are from Guam but live in the States. They're thinking about coming back. So Cole and Eve Castro says the prices for homes for sale on Guam, WTF. I thought Hawaii was expensive. Who on Guam can afford $500,000 home? Even the dilapidated house, which needs $100,000 in renovations, is going for $300,000. That right there is the reason people don't move back home. You'll die before you pay off your home. That sucks. I'll bet there are people dealing with that burden right now. Texas is looking pretty good right about now, and it's that in and of itself is damning. But the rest of it is commentary from other Chamorros that live in the States that want to come back and that are doing, hashtag Me Too. I want to go home. I want to live back on Guam, but I can't afford the housing here. And so we talk about the market of people here on Guam that are looking for affordable housing, either to rent or to buy. But there's a whole other population, a tertiary population of people that want to come home that are going to be unable to find some place to stay. How do we deal with all of that? Does that summarize, does that encapsulate some of the findings in that needs assessment?
Oh, absolutely. And it's everything that we believe to be the case, even before we commissioned that study. That study just reaffirms what we've been thinking all along.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But if I can say, and that's why GURA is trying to be proactive. And I got some heat because I made a presentation to the board to reposition our public housing assets. And what I mean by repositioning is trying to liquidate some of those assets.
I saw that.
And using the proceeds to build 750 brand new units. It would put GURA in a better position in terms of managing those our public housing. We have scattered sites, 19 different sites all over the island, 750 homes. It's very expensive to manage because we have yard work to worry about. We have old plumbing. And so, we're just thinking outside the box, my team and I, and trying to make sure that, when the train comes down the train tracks, we jump off and not just stand there. So,
and I heard what you, and I appreciated it for the thinking that went behind it. And there's obviously some details that we need to jump into. But yeah, there's properties that are old. Some of these GURA houses are going back, and low rent places are going back decades. They're old as Jonestown, old as Hyundai, old as Barragata Heights, and we know what kind of maintenance that it takes to maintenance costs it takes to keep some of those places livable over a regular and livable, not just to Ray Gibson standards, but livable up to federal standards for what those homes have to include and have to be capable of, correct?
You are absolutely correct. And in most cases, in all cases, those homes are in better condition than most homes on Guam, simply because we have to maintain them.
Yeah.
And HUD gives us the money to maintain them. The thing is, they're probably, and I joke about this all the time, they're in better condition than my home. But I don't have to live up to federal standards,
right?
And has to. So that's the challenge we face. And just building 750 new ones would mean, they'll be fully conformant to federal guidelines, and what the money HUD gives us to maintain them would be enough. So basically, it's just trying to put GURA in a better position.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we could chip away on the lack of affordable housing by selling off our stock.
Yeah, I think that's a winner of an idea, and I hope your board goes through with it, and I hope that there's others that are looking at the opportunities to be able to do something like that. So at the end of the day, if I decided that I wanted to buy something like the piece of GURA property out there, maybe at near one of the front of the developments, that I would be able to make you guys an offer and then pick it up, or how would something like that be handled?
It's so preliminary. I just made that presentation to the board last Friday, and they were taken aback because they weren't prepared.
Yeah. Somebody was thinking.
They seem to love the idea. So it's just a matter of me sitting down with HUD now and saying, this is what we'd like to do, and then come back with a more concrete plan and present it to the governor, present it to the board, and get everybody's buy-in, and as well as our elected officials, because the legislature is going to want to have some say in this.
Well, who's going to? Yeah, I'm excited to learn more about it, because there's all the other questions. There are people that are going to say, yeah, okay, fine, it was old Gura housing, but it might be good for me to move my family into or help the kids get into something. Justin Tiaco making a point here. The median wages on Guam don't make for a good debt to income ratio based on the average mortgage payment and the expectations that the banks are going to have. Because these are kind of pre-loved homes, do you suppose you might be able to put together a decent price package and make it so that some of these dual income middle class families might be able to afford them?
And you know what? I don't want to say too much because I have not sat down with the feds yet, but the feds do have options that are available that allow us to sell these homes at below fair market value. So that's something that I'm considering doing. Again, I don't want to say too much because I haven't gotten the board to approve anything for the governor. But if we're able to sell it below fair market value, then why not? And that would certainly help with respect to families that are saying, we're paying rent, we can't afford a mortgage. Well, perhaps if we go that route, we just might be able to do something.
I'm closing in on 8 o'clock in the morning. I know you're busy, so I'm not going to keep you on the line too much longer. I guess congratulations to everybody. We finally got the Sinahanya police precinct opened up.
Yes, I'm so happy. I know it was quite a few months ago when we actually broke ground, but there were challenges, not just on Gura's part, but more so on the contractor's part and the lack of skilled labor. And, I don't want to point any fingers, but the bottom line is every major construction project on this island is delayed because of that.
Yeah. We'll fire a consultant. That's what we're going to do. We'll fire a contractor out there somewhere and get it all done. I don't know what eventually happened with your air conditioning contractor up there. Apparently, significant pressure was put on somebody to make sure that they finally got it going. You doing any ribbon cuttings on any other Gura success stories in the next couple of days?
Yes, and the governor mentioned this on her State of the Island. We'll be breaking ground to the Women's Treatment Center in Seaton, Drug Rehab Center. That's a huge thing for this administration.
Yeah, well, if it helps, nothing worse than when women get in trouble, when moms get in trouble. So I'm delighted to get more details on that. So we're going to break ground in the next couple of days?
I would say late March, early April.
All right, we'll keep an eye out for it. Ray, I really appreciate your time. I don't have a bigger name on the other line. We do have to break away for news, though.
Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Ray Topozna from Gura on the line. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK. Montecillo Tyrant's got news from the Guam Daily Post on the other side of Fox News. That's coming up next. We'll try to pretend to talk about sports, although I know I'm going to be distracted by the Dededo swimming pool and among the reasons that they put together to fire the contractor. And the title of today's program is, Who Else Can We Fire? Who else is out there living off the taxpayer dollar, not doing their job? Let's start making a list and sending that up to the governor. Stand by now. This is The Point.
An outbreak of fear on Wall Street. Lisa Brady, Fox News. The Dow has now dropped over 1,900 points in 2 days, losing another 879 today as the new coronavirus continues to spread.
This unknown factor of just how much this virus is going to affect the global economy. No one has the answer to that right now, and that's why you are seeing investors react in this way.
Fox Business Network's Deirdre Bolton at the New York Stock Exchange. The CDC warning that it's not if, but when the virus will begin to spread within U.S. communities, though for now the risk in the U.S. remains low. Fox Business Network's Blake Berman at the White House.
We heard from the nation's top infectious diseases doctor who said that they are making headway on a trial for the vaccine for the coronavirus. However, he said even if they're able to work through this at a rapid speed, as he put it, a vaccine would not be available until at least 12 to 18 months out.
The Trump administration asking Congress for $2.5 billion in emergency funding. Top Democrats criticizing the White House response. President Trump defending it as he wrapped up a state visit to India earlier today. The heiress to the Hot Pockets fortune becomes the latest parent sentenced for cheating on college admissions. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Elisa Michelle Janevs was sentenced to 5 months in prison, months after pleading guilty to paying hundreds of thousands to have answers corrected for her daughters on an admissions test, and also trying to get one of her children into USC as a fake beach volleyball recruit. Janevs apologized in court, but the judge admonished her for corrupting the admissions process, likening her actions to bribing a government official. Janevs was also given 2 years probation and a $250,000 fine, Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. Disney has a new CEO. Longtime chief Bob Iger leaving sooner than expected, replaced today by Bob Chapek. America's listening to Fox News.
GRMC's Neuroscience and Neurology Department treats a wide spectrum of disorders associated with the nervous system, spine, and brain. Some of the more common disorders include seizures, epilepsy, dementia, sleep disorders, migraine, and stroke, which is one of the leading causes of death on Guam. GRMC's neuroscience team is equipped with the latest technology and the finest neurological doctors. To make an appointment, contact GRMC specialty clinics at 645-5500.
Denny's is making lunchtime a little more special. Every Monday through Friday, they serve a variety of local favorite soups, such as chicken adobo on Mondays, oxtail soup on Tuesdays and Thursdays, chicken tinola on Wednesdays, and pork synagogue on Fridays, while supplies last. All orders are served with rice. Senior citizens get a special menu, which includes a free soup or salad. Make Denny's your new lunch spot, located in Tamuning and the Micronesia Mall.
Congress is considering a renewal of post-9/11 surveillance powers, which are set to expire next month.
Attorney General William Barr is urging Senate Republicans to reauthorize provisions of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell supports renewing that authority before provisions expire next month.
There's a tendency, I think, with the passage of time for these measures to lose support because you've been so successful.
But renewal of FISA regularly faces bipartisan concerns over civil liberty abuse. Those worries have been amplified by the Russia investigation after the Justice Department Inspector General discovered abuse in a warrant for former Trump campaign aide Carter Page. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
A man from Arkansas accused of trying to blow up a car in a Pentagon parking lot yesterday will be due back in court Thursday. The 19-year-old suspect making an initial appearance today in Virginia. Social media content promoting Bernie Sanders gets a review.
Facebook confirms it has been investigating suspicious content supporting Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. However, reps say they were unable to validate claims in a Wall Street Journal article alleging that President Trump supporters or Russian agents were involved in any inauthentic activity. A Facebook rep saying in a statement, "We investigate each credible claim we receive, just as we did in this instance when an outside researcher contacted us." Adding, "To date, we have not been able to substantiate the researcher's claims, and we have not been notified by the intelligence community." Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
It's debate night for the Democrats. 7 presidential hopefuls will take the stage tonight in South Carolina, where the next primary is coming up quickly this Saturday. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
February 27th, it's the last call for leadership.
How do you grow a company? You grow a company by growing people. And when you grow them, they increase their capacity. When they increase their capacity, they begin to increase the capacity of what you can accomplish.
The voice of John C. Maxwell on the last chance to see the Live to Lead conference in November. Over 300 leaders and future leaders experienced a day full of big ideas, fun, and high-level motivation. For those who couldn't make it, we're doing it again. Registration closes soon. Get the details at guamtraining.com. Live to Lead is brought to you by Atkins Kroll, Guam's #1 car dealership. Also by Hawaiian Rock Products, the Guam Contractors Association, the Guam Daily Post, and 93.3 The Point. Energize your team. Join the Guam Live to Lead conference today.
Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated team in Guam and on the U.S. mainland are here to support you. So call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon is stirring up some of your favorite drinks all night long. Come down on Wednesday and Friday nights from 5:30 to 10 p.m. Indulge in some of your favorite local cuisine and pair it with your favorite drink. From our ice-cold beers, our finest selection of wines and liquors, to our top-notch cocktail specials, your friends at Mezcla Bistro Tumon are ready to serve you. Why limit happy to only an hour? The Mezcla family reminds everyone to drink responsibly. See you on Wednesday and Friday night.
Half a day and good morning. It's 8:06. I'm Ana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news from the Guam Daily Post. As the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has raised its caution on travel to South Korea to the highest level, Korean Air has confirmed a member of its cabin crew has tested positive for the coronavirus. With the development, Korean Air shut down its office near the Incheon International Airport, where the crew briefing room is located. The airline didn't state what routes the flight of the cabin crew member was on prior to the discovery of the infection. Korean Air was one of the 3 Seoul-based airlines that have reduced flights to Guam in light of the downturn in the air travel due to the concerns over the virus. The Korean Centers for Disease Control and Prevention notified the airline of the employee, confirming that the employee was infected. The U.S. CDC also issued a warning level 3, meaning Americans are urged to avoid all non-essential travel to South Korea. South Korea has confirmed 893 people have tested positive for the novel coronavirus, which is the highest number of cases for any country outside of China. Guam doesn't have any cases of confirmed coronavirus, but the global fear has taken a toll on our local tourism industry, with more than 15,000 cancellations reported so far. Meanwhile, even more Korea-Guam flights have been canceled. As of yesterday, the airport confirmed 82 flights between South Korea and Guam have been canceled from February 14th through March 15th. With both of the island's public swimming pools closed yet again, Governor Lilian Guerrero and the Department of Parks and Recreation have decided to terminate the agreement with a private contractor that was paid to maintain them. The contract with Canton Construction was to cost GovGuam $660,000 over 2 years, and the contractor's already been paid close to $500,000. The termination followed a series of unscheduled pool closures at both pool locations, which continue to frustrate the local community. Well, the Office of the Attorney General has filed a civil lawsuit against the Consolidated Commission on Utilities, specifically members Joey Duenas, Francis Santos, Simon Sanchez, and former members George Bamba and Pedro Guerrero, alleging the commissioners violated the open government law during a 2015 closed-door meeting. In that meeting, the CCU members decided on a $28,000 raise for the Guam Waterworks Authority's interim general manager. The AG's office alleges that the commissioners violated their duty of care and were entrusted with ensuring they would manage public funds in the interest of the people of Guam. The case comes after the Office of the Attorney General and the OPA announced a partnership to tackle the misuse of government funds. The OPA audit report states that the CCU violated the open government law at least 31 times when giving salaries and bonuses to employees. The OPA recommended that corrective action be taken, and they seek repayment of these funds. Instead, the CCU held a special meeting to retroactively approve the bonuses and raises that it had earlier given in closed-door meetings. AG Levin Camacho now says in order to regain the public's trust in our government, they need to treat repeated violations of our laws as repeated violations of our laws as business as usual. He adds that they'll hold people accountable when they violate the law. More news after this.
Docomo Pacific wants to keep your business connected. When you sign up for a smart business bundle, you're gaining more than just mobile, internet, and phone services. Receive unbeatable value for your money and the convenience of having it all on one bill. All your business services on the widest and fastest network in Guam and the Marianas. Call 688-2677 for more information on partnering your business. Docomo Pacific Business, delivering your future today.
All of the sinks and showers have running hot water and all of the toilets flush. That's from a tour of the Agana lockup. The tour follows complaints from 9 federal inmates and detainees who allege inhumane conditions at the prison to include improper medical, dental, and psychological care. GOC plans to begin shifting some prisoners back into the renovated cells today so that they can continue working on the other areas that need improvement. The case is set to go back to Chief Judge Frances Tidinko Gatewood on March 9th after she ordered all parties to work together to resolve the issues. Public Defender John Gorman yesterday said that following the tour there are still some issues, but he's pleased that there has been significant progress. A man accused in a knife incident in Sinahanya earlier this month was indicted by a Superior Court of Guam grand jury this week. 21-year-old Tomisan Nikot faces charges of aggravated assault as a second-degree felony, and he was twice charged with aggravated assault as a third-degree felony. Each charge includes a special allegation of possession and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony. He's scheduled to be arraigned today. Nikot is alleged to have thrown a knife at a passing vehicle in Sinahanya, injuring a passenger in that car. And Susan Mata won't have to spend any time in prison after a judge gave her a 2-year suspended prison sentence with credit for time served. Judge Anita Sokola placed Mata on 5 years probation. Details of her plea agreement haven't been disclosed. It is under seal. But back in 2018, Mata was caught with methamphetamine, marijuana, and thousands of dollars in cash after she was pulled over by Guam police. And those are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here now is Ray with your weather.
The really annoying thing about the second to the last story was the guy, the knife thrower in Sinahanya, is he had already been busted 8 times on a variety of drunk dude charges, and nobody let anything stick. So what's to prevent him from going out, getting loaded again, and throwing more knives around? Nothing. Right. Nothing. So hopefully in this case, the indictment will stick, and he'll be put away for at least long enough to be able to sober up and figure out what the expected behavior is in polite society. 8:13 in the morning. All right, we can play the music now. Partly cloudy and isolated showers today. Easterly winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Expected daytime highs today should be 87 degrees. It's partly cloudy and maybe on some showers again tonight. East winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Overnight lows expected to be 75 degrees. A little bit cooler. It's 75 degrees. Open the window. Open the window and pray that you don't have noisy dogs in the area, because that's the only reason why I don't open the windows in the house. Number one, I have no screens, so the coronavirus will come in, and there's the dogs that live over there that have conversations with the dogs that live over there, and there's one or two they got really good dog hearing, and they talk to another dog out in the Mighty area that they think that they can hear. And God help us if there's some guy meandering up and down the street in the middle of the night. Okay, so I'm done. 75 degrees is what the overnight temps are going to be. Sunset tonight at 6:28 or so in the usual spots. Tell the others there's a high risk of rip current, so if you're going to the beach to watch the sunset, just watch out for those along the reef edge. 8:14 in the morning. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Half a day. This is Alicia Blas from Security Title with a gentle reminder that it's property tax season. You might not know, but if you purchase property after March 4th, 2019, you most likely will not receive a tax bill in the mail, but you still owe the tax. The second installment payment is due on April 20. Take a copy of your deed to Revenue Tax in Barragata and ask for the tax bill. When it comes to your family land, call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
With a new decade, there are new opportunities. And with new opportunities, there is always a chance to say yes. Yes to that car. Yes to that business venture. Yes to that new house. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Sorry, it's 8:14 in the morning. I'm working on my Richard Burton my impression. Richard Burton, you know the guy, the actor. He's Cleopatra, all of that stuff. Married to Elizabeth Taylor. Was in one of my favorite Flight of the Geese something. Came out in the late 70s, early 80s. Great mercenary movie, and he's just awesome in it, and a lot of other people that are just awesome in it as well. So it's one of these vehicle movies where they take all these old stars and put them together because it's going to be just awesome, right? Richard, what was the name of the guy that played James Bond? Not that one, the other one.
Dalton.
Not that one, the other one. Before him.
Sean Connery.
No, in between.
Paul something.
Mana, don't laugh, Mana.
Ringo Starr.
It wasn't Ringo Starr. And the name is Richard Starkey, okay? Anyway, so Flight of the Geese. I'll remember it. But Richard Burton was also, and the reason why this is, it's stuck in my head now. And you know how I am. Once I get a thing stuck in my head, I'm not happy unless I get it out. Because I'm going to be sitting around at 10:15 going, oh, man, I forgot to say Richard Burton was in Exorcist II, The Heretic. Do you remember it? Do you know? You remember one of the central characters in Exorcist II: The Heretic was locusts, and they got this story now on locusts all over Africa. Flying it can cover 95 miles a day. You know why? Because they're not walking; they're flying. These beasts can fly. And what did they say they can consume?
Eat and run.
Thousands and thousands of pounds of food. They can eat as much as 35,000 people in a day. That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing, and it's happening in real time. At the same time that we're having this the pestilence that is the coronavirus, and it's just one of those things where you go
wars breaking out everywhere.
Yeah. Just maybe.
Well, Lent is the perfect time for folks.
Is it Roger Moore?
Roger Moore.
Get right with God.
Thank you very much. Roger Moore gets me right with God. So he's in the movie. Richard Burton's in the movie. And then there's another one of these super British stars that are in the movie as well. Somebody will look it up and then get back to me. Okay. Got it out of my system. Richard Burton, Exorcist II: The Heretic. Get a chance to watch it. And the locusts are in it. Don't know if that was worth interrupting the entire flow of the program, but I've at least got it off my chest. Okay, now it's time for a Wendy's break. The best cod fillet fish sandwich is back in downtown Nagano, Guam. For a limited time, Wendy's is serving their panko-crusted North Pacific cod fried to a golden brown, and then they put dill pickles in it. Now, let me just deconstruct this for you. Panko breadcrumbs, not any ordinary breadcrumbs. They're from Japanese panko bread, and it is pronounced panko. Please don't say panko, because Yakuza will cut your pinky off if you say panko breadcrumbs. So they got the panko breadcrumbs, North Pacific cod, which this is not raised in a farm. These things are hand caught. When I say hand caught, I mean somebody's actually putting their hands in the water, grabbing a cod, and pulling it out. They fillet the thing, fry it all up together until it's a golden brown. Then they serve that with dill pickles and the special tartar sauce that they use, all in a soft, warm bun. So have that with fries, strawberry iced tea, or a Frosty, or whatever it is that you're going to want. Again, for a limited time only. Imagine that, just in time for Lent, over at Wendy's. The Ray Gibson Show is also brought to you by American President Lines. After all that time talking about the panko breadcrumbs, I'm wondering if maybe I should throw in some panko goodness with APL. Well, how do you think the stuff gets here? APL Global Presence with a local home.
Bringing you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
Well, that was about the nicest thing. There was a guy that was talking about what he would miss in the coming apocalypse, and forget about electricity or running water or the internet. He says he'd miss the Ray Gibson Show. That was the base. I don't know that I'd be able to do that. Okay, so if not that it's gonna happen, not that it will happen, but I hold an extra class license in amateur radio.
Yes,
which means that if something, if there was the bright flash, or if everything got eaten on Guam by locusts or coronavirus took out everything, I would still be able to come up with some kind of a contraption to broadcast on.
You'd go ham.
We'd go into no, I wouldn't go ham. I just there's no FCC after that, so I just figure out a way to make it so that we would be able to continue to transmit like Will Smith in that movie, right? With the zombies, and he's telling everybody, meet me here every day at 3. Legend, yeah. So I would be able to do that. Now the tricky part would be, do you have a radio? Besides the one that could look anything that's got a diode in it and is going to get blown out for you would have to be amateur radio somebody. We'd have to put plans on the internet somewhere so that you could construct a simple wire radio, one of those foxhole radios like they did back in the day. You can do that. Believe it or not, you can do it with a pencil. And there are plans right now that would make it so that you could tune in a radio station that would be broadcasting at significant enough power so you could pull it off basically with a piece of paper and a handful of electronics.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah. So that would be, I almost guarantee that would be among the first things that would come back from the dead if it came down to it, is radio. Because
crank radio?
I have
crank
one.
radio. You can crank radio can get it done.
I have a crank radio.
But it might require some kind of repair depending on the other. Now if we are worried about EMPs, look it up somewhere on how to build an EMP cage. You need to be a Faraday cage. You need to have something that will protect whatever these sensitive electronic devices are from that electromagnetic pulse. And the word that you're looking for is Faraday cages. And now there's
with a PH or an F?
F. Faraday cage. And some people say that your microwave oven would make a pretty interesting, would make a good Faraday cage. It might be lined up perfectly to prevent that kind of thing. Now, I don't know about all of that stuff.
I would miss showers. You know, showers, hot water, soap. Because you watch all these movies, you know, End of Times, and everybody's dirty, filthy, dirty, disgusting.
Right. But
dirty
there's
fingernails and everything. It would drive me nuts.
So there's ways though that you could get past that. I mean, and again, I might have a PDF book somewhere. In fact, it might be in the radio station Google thing, right? Our Dropbox. There might be in the Dropbox. In fact, I know there is. It's an old PDF. It's a PDF, a book of PDF of the way people lived back in the old days and how you can make soap from animal fat. Which is the Ada's soap factory back in the 30s and 40s. That's how Ada's got rich. They didn't always have insurance companies and things like that.
Animal fat, like it's in dogs, dog fat,
pig fat, deer fat, people fat.
Well, you can use some like the awapui plant puts out hair.
Yeah.
Cleanser.
I mean, it could be done. You could actually. I mean, if it came to bullets, you ought to be able to continue to live at least some respectable kind of life. Of course, we'd all lose 40 or 50 pounds right off in the first couple of weeks. It'd be like staying over at DepCorp. Anyway, 8:22 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. I'll dig that thing up and see if I can print out a couple of pages to show you online and see what's going on. All right, so sports stories. I already told you yesterday about the Cocos Crossing. You don't need to sign up for that right away, but go start looking around for all the different categories that you're going to want to participate in that. I'm sure there's a 5K this weekend, almost 100% positive. Where is it? Yeah. Running into the Future, 2K, 5K. This one here is going to be at EPOW Beach. Showtime at 5:15. Go time is going to be 6 o'clock in the morning. And you can sign up now at St. John's and run Guam/goodies. Now, this is an interesting kind of Saturday because there's two races, one in the morning and then one in the afternoon. My friends at where is this? KFC are putting together the Charity Chicken Run, and it will take place at the Hulali Shopping Center. Showtime at 4:30 in the afternoon. Go time at 5:30 in the afternoon. Congratulations to and you can get registered over at Run Guam and Hornet and Moy Communications over at Hulali. And now this is I've run that course before, and it ain't so bad. It's you can run around Agania and get 3.1 miles. It's not all that difficult, and I'm trying to remember if that's the course that will give you the least headwind in an afternoon race. Although, if you're running at 5:30 in the afternoon, you'll want a little bit of wind because it's hot.
Wind and rain.
And last night we started running about 6:30, and I was surprised at just how hot I was because the week prior to that, a couple of weeks prior to that, when I was running from exactly the same place, exactly the same route, had a little bit more nighttime on it. So sign up for all of that stuff. And I'd love to say, if you are going to be in the Cocos Crossing, you might want to go to one of the swimming pools and get some practice in. But both of them are closed, and in one case, they fired the contractor for keeping the pools clean because they found a number of violations and a number of other things that posed they believed an imminent health hazard to members of our community that might go swimming in that place, up to and including tiles around the pool chipped or missing, safety float rope not in place to warn swimmers about deeper waters, well-marked emergency phone not available, first aid kit with signs not provided, miscellaneous signs for bathing rules, chemicals, and safety not available, automated chemical controller not working, flow meter broken, acid and sanitizers improperly stored in the same room, restrooms not properly stocked with soap and paper towels, no soap or warm water in the cleaning showers. One handle in the men's shower broken. Lifeguard and operator search not kept on site. Latest inspection report not posted. Well, I mean, if you had all these violations, why would you post the inspection report? And when was the last time they had one? Pre-opening checklist for operators, unavailable. No daily chemical inventory log. No documents that attest the water slide conforms to safety standards. Imminent health hazard, shut down, fire the contractor. And I got to wonder if that is going to be an indication that they will fire the director of the Department of Parks and Rec. I mean, do you suppose his neck is next on the chopping block? It's already been called for over at the legislature. I'm not, and I'm, Richard's a friend of mine, and I hope nothing bad happens to him. But I'm wondering if that was, just one of the signs here. We've got 2 of the swimming pools that are closed, and no indication that we're going to be able to get either of them open anytime soon. How does that bode for his continuing career in the government of Guam?
Well, to his credit, though, that he was not the one who entered into the contract with Canton. I mean, that came in
Calvo Tenorio administration.
From the previous administration, and so, you have to count on your contractor and hold them accountable.
But he's had a year to count on the contractor and hold them
yeah,
accountable.
that's
I mean,
true
to that, it's not like he just got there the other day. He was sworn in at the same time everybody else was, right?
Right, that's true.
So he's had a year to be able to show that he can corral his the people that are vendors to him. So but we'll see what happens. 888-8255-888-TALK. And it's not quite sports. Well, not the way everybody else does it, but the way I do Ash Wednesday, it is. My friend from the Archdiocese, Tony Diaz, is on the line. Good morning, Tony. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm okay. It's weird because we've got people online saying Happy Ash Wednesday. That's not quite the appropriate way to usher in this day of observance, this holy observance, is it?
I mean, it's a time of sacrifice. We call it the penitential period, beginning of Lent, because there's a lot of penance and sacrifice. But it's certainly part of being in the church is to be joyful. You can be joyful about your sacrifice, believe it or not, because again, it's just so important as our identity as Catholics and Christians.
So go ahead and if you find it a joyous occasion whenever you are in that fellowship, then I suppose, Happy Ash Wednesday might be a good thing. I remember when I went, because it's one of the first sacraments that you get as a Catholic, right? I mean, it's right up there. We get the Ash Wednesday, and we get the other sacrament of communion, etc. And so it's always kind of fun to line up in church and wait. And when I was a kid, it was Archbishop Flores, and find out whether he was going to be able to do the cross effectively on my forehead.
Yeah, of course. First, we're baptized, the sacrament of baptism, and we get Holy Communion and confirmation. The Ash Wednesday is not a sacrament, but it is part of our church.
I need to go to church more often. This is sisters. Tony, sisters. I got it. Sisters getting mad at me right now, going, "You idiot! When did I tell you? When in school did I tell you that that's a sacrament?"
You're funny, Ray. We all recall. We could have other discussions about our sisters.
Sister Callista, Sister Elaine, Sister Mark, Sister Mary Pierre. They're all rolling in their nun graves right now saying, did you tell him that it was a sacrament? I didn't tell him it was a sacrament.
Yeah. Anyway, it's of course, we begin the period of prayer and leading up to Easter, 40 days of prayer and abstinence, fasting. The 3 pillars of, everyone will go to Mass today. This is one of the Masses that is really, really well attended. And people will go there for the placing and distribution of Ash Wednesdays on their foreheads. A reminder where we come from thus we shall go. And the 3 pillars of Lent are the prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. And it's just a time for us to cleanse ourselves in preparation for Easter. The church on the season of Lent, the obligatory days of fasting and abstinence are Ash Wednesday, of course, and Good Friday. But on Guam, many are familiar that, and other places too, that people choose to, some people choose to fast every week.
All the way. Well, I know some people that will fast all the way through, or they will provide some other kind of Lenten sacrifice. I had an Uncle Bob, and I, he loved to take a drink every day, and at Lent he didn't drink. And he wouldn't touch a drop of anything until it got to be Good Friday. We all thought that was some kind of an Easter miracle. But that was always kind of interesting to see what people were going to abstain from and what the nature of those sacrifices were supposed to be. The lay people and the clergy today will be offering the ash on the faithful's foreheads. Where will the ash come from, Tony?
They come from the leaves that come from Palm Sunday. There's a certain way that they're burned and grinded to produce the ashes, and so it's something that the churches prepare for, and I think usually about a week before Ash Wednesday, they have a certain staffer who is responsible.
Who does that? Because when I was an altar boy, when we were kids, and I was at a ball, we never did. I never participated in the burning and the creation of the ash. It was just one of those things. It showed up on Ash Wednesday. I didn't know which of the old guys in the church got to do that.
Many times it's a parish staff member or a volunteer, but definitely it's someone that's already familiar with the way to do it.
Yeah, the process. Yeah, the traditions of the church that are passed down from one generation to the other. That's always fun. Reminder: if you're going in, you want to. There's a hesitation, I think, for a lot of people to want to be first in line when the clergy starts issuing the ash. You do want to go first in line because that's when, in my mind, that's when you get the best crosses. Because if you wait until the priest is digging around the bottom of it, then there's not enough ash to make a good cross. You guys are laughing at me. This is important stuff. I mean, I swear I'm not trying to make light of it. I just know that that's the way it is.
The
You want a
beginning
good
of the
heavy
line,
mark.
you get the really deep, dark black ash. And sometimes it's like, oh,
it's so heavy it falls in your clothes.
You're going to get an extra one because you are
I'm going to do mine with nails.
Yours is going to cover the whole face.
Yeah, just the fact that you made good faith effort and you're there, whether you get a big smudge or a small smudge, it's a unifying thing. And the very beautiful thing about Lent and the sacrifices and the gestures of whether it's almsgiving, fasting, or abstinence, it helps us to slow down, stop, and do this on purpose, right? And we certainly need that, and especially these days where it's quite stressful, not only on Guam, but because of global events.
Yes.
You guys are talking about the
coronavirus. We're talking about locusts out in Africa, and Mana's talking about the wars and conflicts breaking out all over the planet. Something innocuous like President Trump going to India, nuclear country, and that's got everybody on edge over there. And there's all kinds of protests going on one way or the other. And I'm sure that India's neighbors, the Pakistanis, are getting all twitchy about world events. And we'll see what happens to the economy and a significant downturn in the economy based on natural disasters, things like that, can have an impact on countries that are already stressed. Some of these socialist countries that are already stressed with their own versions of poverty. So if there's a time where we need atonement and to make right with Jesus, today's a good day for it. So Ash Wednesday, is there someplace online where we can go and see all of the different schedules for Ash Wednesday?
Sure. You can go to our website at archagania.org. And I believe pretty much all of the media's websites should have it. I sent to you too as well, but I'll send it again to your station.
I'm just going to tell everybody either get it from the Guam Daily Post or go to Candid News. Both of them have it. I'm too lazy to put it up.
Archagania.org also has it, our website.
All right. Well, listen, Tony, it's always fun talking with you. Is there any? This is normally the time I talk about sports, and you've actually done sports on television before. Is there anything that you're watching out for, you wary of? We already know that the Tokyo Marathon is only going to be elites and for elite runners and elite wheelchair racers. And just this morning they were talking about, well, we're going to need to be very wary of what happens next with the coronavirus because we've got the Olympics coming up as well. So what are your thoughts?
I do know that Far East Sports, and as reported by Stars and Stripes, has been impacted, of course, right? Because they have schools that are not only based in, of course, Guam, but Okinawa, Korea, and the military commander has had to curtail it. We go to Far East events, basketball tournaments, for instance, every year, both boys and girls. So we'll have to monitor that, and it's always sad when it impacts the everyday routine of our athletes, such as our high school athletes. But there is the hierarchy of importance, and that means our health and our safety. So, again, prayer is important. We pray for the safety of everyone, and we pray that we get through this as a global community.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will. I'm sure that that will echo the sentiments of the Archbishop when he takes to the altar this afternoon. 8:35. I got to let you run. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Take care.
All right, buddy. Pray for us sinners. 888-825-5888-TALK. Let's look at news and headlines from the Guam Daily Post coming up next.
With a new decade, there are new opportunities. And with new opportunities, there is always a chance to say yes. Yes to that car. Yes to that business venture. Yes to that new house. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
Cocoa Coffee Company mugs are now here. Show pride for your island as you enjoy your delicious Circle K coffee. Each generously sized 16-ounce mug is etched with Guam-inspired images like Chief Gadao, Serena, Two Lovers, and many more. The Cocoa Coffee Company mug collection is available for a limited time only, so don't miss out. Get yours today and collect them all. Exclusively available at Circle K locations. A portion of the proceeds go toward the Cocoa Bird Recovery Program.
8:36. Is that the time? Yes, I think it is. Portions of the program. News. Just up into news now? That's a good idea because that's what's on the schedule, isn't it? It is time for our last look at headline news this morning, brought to you by, who's this? Folks over at iConnect. Now, with news from the Guam Daily Post, here's Mana Silva Tyron.
A crew member from Korean Air tested positive for coronavirus, the airline not stating what routes the crew member was on. Korean Air, though, shut down its office near Incheon International Airport. More flights are being canceled, too, from South Korea. The U.S. CDC also issuing a warning level 3, meaning Americans are urged to avoid all non-essential travel to South Korea. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and Parks and Rec have decided to terminate that agreement with Canton Construction. Canton was hired by the former administration to maintain the pools, and after repeatedly failing to keep the Agana and Dededo pools open, they've been given the boot. The contract was for $660,000 over a 2-year period. The contractor already paid $500,000 despite their inability to keep the pools open. Today is Ash Wednesday, and the faithful Catholics will attend a special Ash Wednesday Mass to start the Lenten season. It's a time of fasting and prayer. The schedule can be found for those masses in the Guam Daily Post. Lent will last through Easter Sunday. And those are some of your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, you can pick up a copy of the paper, log on to their website at postguam.com.
Thank you very much. 8:38 is iConnect time. Go to the nearest iConnect. There's one over at the Micronesia Mall, and just be amazed at all the cool gizmos and gadgets that you need to complete your digital life. Whether you're an iPhone person or a Samsung person, they've got stuff there that you can connect to and really enjoy playing around with. Just make this charge that and put the thing into the radio so you can use your Android Auto and your Apple CarPlay and all of that stuff. They know how to get it done for you, and iConnect at the Micronesia Mall.
Passwords. They're the keys to our online identity, whether it's to your social media profiles, our streaming services, or our bank accounts. Here are some tips to keep your passwords strong and secure. Change your passwords often. Never use the same password across different websites. Craft your passwords from phrases that only you understand. Refrain from using characters or numbers that are right next to each other on the keyboard. These password protection tips are brought to you by Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
You can say it on, just go on the radio because the microphone is on. You can go on. It's an actual sports thing, and we probably should have talked about it.
I didn't quite want to because, I was banking on, I'm not plugged in here. I was banking on the Warriors taking it, but FD beat the Warriors 48-40 last night.
It
was a good game, though. It was all the way up to the end.
Yeah, I'm sure
so
it was.
Me and the girls went there.
8:39 in the morning, and that's all the time we got to pretend to talk about sports here. 8:39 portions of the program brought to you by the guys over at Denny's. Got to get something into your system before you head to Mass for your big deal with the Ash Wednesday. Got the hearty breakfast land there. Berry vanilla crepe breakfast, banana chocolate hazelnut crepe breakfast, and there's no meat in that, so you won't get in trouble with God or Polly when you head to Mass. So check out grilled haddock on the menu as well, and that's fish, and that is in line for Ash Wednesday. So check that out at the menu over at Denny's. Portions of the program also brought to you by Take Care Insurance, offering proven wellness and fitness programs to encourage you and your families to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle. Preventative care, being active, eating right, relaxing and unwinding, and being socially connected. All of that with your friends from Take Care.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Oh, I can make this one a short one because there just isn't that much happening in terms of traffic, intersection traffic. Most of the places that you're going to be going to on Marine Corps Drive, a little bit of traffic over at 1 and 2 down south, heading northbound Marine Corps Drive. You will see some traffic issues slowing you down, getting into the downtown and Getney area. Most of that, it's not really intersection traffic. I think it's just spillover from the construction that's taking place on Route 4 between the Agana Shopping Center and Kipua Park. Getting into Agana from Marine Corps Drive shouldn't be any major problems there. Am I looking at anything happening down on no. Marine Corps Drive looking pretty solid. You will see some traffic on Route 8 over at the intersections. Some of those places will slow you down. It's that intersection over by Cars Plus that comes in a little bit too quick after the intersection by Payless that will slow you down. 8, 10, and 16 back to normal. 15 and 10 a little bit busy on the 15 side as people try to make their way across from Price Elementary onto the back road to Anderson, but it'll clear up. Nothing major on the other side. Route 4 is running clean all the way down to Country Club of the Pacific, CCP. It's a good place to learn to golf. 842, that's right now. Traffic brought to you by Bank of Hawaii. Welcome to tomorrow.
Cocoa Coffee Company mugs are now here. Show pride for your island as you enjoy your delicious Circle K coffee. Each generously sized 16-ounce mug is etched with Guam-inspired images like Chief Gadao, Serena, Two Lovers, and many more. The Cocoa Coffee Company mug collection is available for a limited time only, so don't miss out. Get yours today and collect them all. Exclusively available at Circle K locations. A portion of the proceeds go toward the Cocoa Bird Recovery Program.
Isn't that a nice thing? 888-825-5888-TALK. Subway has got fresh choices for this Lenten season. Enjoy the savory goodness of the shrimp and guacamole spinach wrapper, the delicious Veggie Max. Visit any of the convenient locations today at Subway. Make it what you want.
At the mall, as you enjoy your shopping, dining, or entertainment, you could also win 3 great cars from Atkins Kroll and thousands of prizes in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Present your mall receipts and have a chance to win the renowned performance Chevrolet Camaro, the unapologetic rugged Toyota 4Runner, or the head-turning Lexus ES350 Luxury. Getaways to Manila, courtesy of Philippine Airlines, plus prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. The more you shop, the more chance to win in Micronesia Mall's Cars, Prizes, and Getaways game. Disco. Good. 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number here. It's the point. And playing around with, I shouldn't normally do this at a time like this, but I'm trying to migrate. That's the word I'm looking for. Migrate from one phone that I was using for the points WhatsApp to another phone that's got more memory. And the reason, I'll tell you the reason why. Reason why is because the pictures are getting bigger. The videos are getting bigger that people are sending. So I had it on an old phone that only had 32 gigs worth of memory on that. So I'm putting it on a phone. It's got 64. So I can accommodate more of your crazy pictures and your crazy videos and your crazy memes, including this one. And I'm not going to tell you where I got it, Real Joe Cruz. It's just so right. I'm sorry, Catholics will get it. If you're watching on Facebook Live and wonder what we're giggling about, that's what we're giggling about. As I said, we'll get it. You will understand, and you'll go, they need to be putting that out all the time. And wouldn't it be something if the priest could write the truth on your forehead with the ashes, and it just kind of brand you for the day? Like, we know what your problems are. This is how you need to get right with God. You really need to stop being such a slut. Okay, there's one of them. And just everybody that comes in, okay, yeah, everybody knows that you're an ice guy because you're always twitching and you smell like cat pee. So just write that down in the forehead, cat pee guy, right? And then that's what you're going to have to abstain from as we make our way 40 days and 40 nights through the deal, right?
What would you get?
Oh.
Mine would probably say stoner or something like drunk.
No,
Drunk.
it's just wait. I'll think of something.
Bolero.
Bolero. Constantly being that. Yes, that. Constantly. You pass somebody a compliment, they go, oh, bolero. What again? So where was I? 8:46 in the morning, and some of the other things that they're sticking in my head about some issues that we got. There we go. Yeah, just go ahead and sign in as everything. Just looking at the phone. So I got this. It was funny. I was watching something with KUAM the other day, and I thought it was kind of cute because it had Will Parkinson, Carlotta Leon Guerrero, Frank Blas Jr., and Tello Taitigui in this panel that Chris had together, and they were all going together and deconstructing the governor's State of the Island address, and so I'm watching Will Parkinson, and I didn't realize what a Democrat he was. I mean, even my Democrat friends are going, yeah, he's way over there. He was touting talking about do universal health care, great idea. Let's do universal health care. Tell you what, let's do universal health care and $15 an hour minimum wage. Let's do that. And we'll go, oh, easy now. Easy there with that stuff. I kept waiting for Frank Blas to get up there and punch him in the mouth. Say, no, $15 an hour minimum wage. And let's before we start crowing about how great the world is going to be when we've got this universal health care, maybe we need to learn a little bit more by way of the plans. See, that was the problem with Obamacare, wasn't it? Wasn't that one of the issues with Obamacare? Number one, not one Republican voted for it. And number two, even the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi's famous words, we have to pass it to find out what's in it. I'm serious. I'm totally serious. That was the deal. That was what they were talking about over it, that we have to pass it before we know. You got everybody in the world, all of the lefties and the Bernie, for Guam guys or Guam guys for Bernie are all going, yeah, universal health care. Woo-hoo. That's what I'm talking about, yo. And I go, well, what, the governor just kind of whispered the words universal health care. She laid out, a very, very broad image of what the idea was, but not a whole lot by way of details about the plan, what it's going to look like, and who had to do what. And even with Carlotta Leon Guerrero sitting in that panel, I wasn't getting a whole lot by way of this is exactly how it's going to work. This is the way we'll see universal health care. So I don't know. I don't know. I will do my best not to be critical of it until I'm exposed to more details to see how this is going to play out in the world. Now, one of the things I think they're banking on is the inclusion of the private sector, either to provide private sector funding towards this single payer system that they want to build, or definitely to make it so that instead of me being able to go to Take Care or Stay Well or Aetna or any of these other people, we just kind of go into this universal health care plan and then pay them. And I'm going, well, yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. Again, I keep going over this point here because I think it's an important point. Is that I try to take care of myself before I devoured the pizza from the guy that puts pizza together in front of Carabao. Before I ate that with my beer, I went running for about 4 miles.
Is that where you're running to?
That's why I was. Yes.
I thought about that because I went around the corner and I saw the oven.
No. This is the way it works. The Tuesdays, the guys over at Southern Mountain Gear, hiking friends and athletes, fellow athletes, they have on Tuesdays, it's kind of a guided run through Agana. So we start there behind, next to the museum, run down to Tzodi, and then up O'Brien Drive, and then back around through the Bank of Hawaii, and then back over to Southern Mountain Gear. It's a little 3-mile run, nothing major. You want to run a little bit more before, I did. You can. If you want to run some afterwards, I did. You can. And so I did that. And of course, naturally, I'm feeling very pompous about my health. And going, you know what? When I took, and I'm not kidding. Now this is serious. It sounds like I'm just riffing and being a braggy Ray. But when I went for my physical for my insurance, my life insurance, which everybody has to do now, right? If you're over 50, for sure they're gonna do a physical. When I went to the physical, they pronounced me super healthy.
Nice.
Because, athlete, all of that stuff, all of the blood work looked good. Everything else that they tested for was looking really, really good. I was great, no STDs, whatever. And so super healthy, which meant I would pay less in premiums for my health insurance.
Sweet.
Right? I mean, not my health insurance, but my life insurance. I would pay less for the same coverage because I was healthy and I took care of myself, and I consider that a reward. So now, it doesn't mean that I'm taking anybody else's life insurance coverage away by being super healthy. So that's, one of the benefits of doing something like that. So I take care of myself. I don't need to have a big major health insurance plan that has coverage for this, that, and the other, because I maintain, a standard of health for myself where I don't think I'd need that. So just give me the basic stuff here. Just I need to go see a doctor every once in a while. How about one of the gym membership to be included? That would be nice. Whatever it is that kind of like what I had when I was a kid. Somebody asked me what pills I take. I said I take a vitamin supplement and fish oil. That's it. I don't take anything else for any other kind of malady that I might have. And when I get sick, in very extreme cases, I'll go check out the doctor. Otherwise, they got an aisle over at Payless that you will cure pretty much anything except AIDS and coronavirus, I think. Might have a couple of things in there that will take care of it. So my point is that the people that are taking care of themselves should not have to subsidize the people that don't. You can say, well, Ray, what about people that get cancer? Can't do anything about that. Okay, I don't have a problem, right? That's something that I don't know. I think in our community of people, there ought to be some funds that get set aside to make sure that people who get these diseases for absolutely no good reason. There are people that are born with diabetes. It's just genetic. It's in their system. They are going to get diabetes in their life. And then you got the people that, like I said, are eating Teresa's Pack for breakfast, right? Down it with all of this super rich sugary tea, wondering why they can't lose weight. But I'm drinking tea. Tea is healthy, isn't it? No, look at how much sugar is in that. Look at how many calories you're going to get. I can't read it because it's from China. It says Kcal instead of regular calories. I don't know what it says. And the new way that the processed food companies are fooling you, which is they say, it's only 100 calories per serving, only 100 calories per serving. Well, how many calories in that can? 8. 800 calories in the whole can. And you think that you're getting a deal because the can says 100 calories per serving, but there are actually more than 1 or 2 servings in the can of whatever it is that you're eating or drinking these days. You got to watch out for all of those kinds of things. Anyway, 8:53. So that's my point. I don't have enough details on this, and in my worldview as a conservative or conservative identifying person, the thing that annoys me the most are free riders. The perfect examples of free riders that are out there are people that are perfectly capable of going to work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, get a job just like me, and not be on food stamps. But how many people are there that are like that in this town? And did you hear the squeals when President Trump said, well, we're not going to let you go on that ride anymore. You got to show us that you're looking for a job. You got to show us that you're working. You got to show us that you're training for something. Otherwise, we're going to take you off the list. You are an actual able-bodied person. And able-bodied people ought to be able to support themselves without being wards of the state. You know where the other free riders are? And this is something I was talking with Mayor Melissa Savares about this last week, and it's true when you stop and think about it. There's all these cars parked on yards on Guam and need to get taken care of, need to be ridded of. But nobody is doing that on their own initiative because they know that the government of Guam is eventually going to have one of these big deals where they go and bring in, what's the word, there's going to be some kind of island-wide cleanup of junk cars and metallic vehicles and computer waste. So I'm not going to get rid of this stuff. I'm just going to stack it up in front of the house until the government takes care of it for me. That's a certain kind of free ride, isn't it? 8:55 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. Buddy Mark's on the phone. Hey, man, how's it going?
Hey, I'm sorry I missed it on sports earlier, but have you been by the Tejan baseball, softball fields lately? No.
I have not been by the Tejan softball fields. If I have, I hadn't been paying attention to anything different. Have you seen anything? What'd they do?
It looks like there's a nice new fence up. all around the upper field I saw, and it's got padding in case you run into it.
Wow. I wonder, did anybody put up a sign saying we did that? I want to say it's the Mickle-Tan Foundation from Benson that takes care of the football on the soccer field.
Yeah, I didn't see any sign. I just saw a guy out there. I guess he was just securing the padding on the top rail.
Very cool.
Which I wish they had 15 years ago when I played softball.
No, yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I look at some of the way they put things together for kids these days. Going, dude, when I was a kid, we didn't have anything like that at Paseo Stadium. When I was a kid, basketball courts over where the huts are now. I want to say that there were basketball courts there or in that area where the Chamorro Village is right now. And back in the day, I mean, if you were charging hard on the basketball court and you went up for a layup and then you couldn't stop yourself, you were bam into a steel and concrete pole.
Yep.
And you just you just shake it off, bro. Shake it off.
Yep.
You go,
yep.
You're an Underwood? Come on,
Flesh
you got
wound. Just a flesh wound.
yeah, don't worry. It'll grow back. That's fine. Well, yeah, keep your eye out for more of that. So, you know what? I'm interested to see what's going to happen is down in Umatic, where they've got a ball field, and they've been working on the ball field for a while. I think they're using Gura money to get that straightened out. But I'd seen it when they were digging the trenches for the boxes and the electrical and the lights that were going up. I think that's going to end up to be a nice ball field when they're all done with it.
Oh yeah, I hope so, because there is that one ball field in the upper side of Molesto too.
It'd be cool to see all of those things develop. All right, well, I'll watch out for that, and I'll see what I can find out in terms of who's taking care of it. So it looks like there's at least one good news piece for the Department of Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, yeah.
There's we can't keep the swimming pools open, but baseball field, that's okay, because that's just, cut the grass. That's all we got to do to maintain it.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
You will. That's my buddy, too, on Mark Cruz, 8:58 or so in the morning. And last thing I'm going to riff on, but next hour we're going to talk about one of the other big business stories I'm not sure that you caught, but we are getting accolades here for having the highest number per capita of people in these programs, what they call apprenticeship programs.
Oh, yeah.
About 1,000 people. Governor mentioned that in her State of the Island address. Dave Del Sol is going to be in the studio talking about that and the next set of steps that they're going to take to try to get more people into the workforce, and if we're lucky, how to get more people into the workforce so that they stay. I think that's the scary thing, is how many people that get themselves trained up and get themselves certified and go, land and houses cheaper in Texas. Or I think I'll go and help rebuild Louisiana. I think I'll go and help rebuild the Panhandle out in Florida. Or go to Miami and hang out in some of those cool gentlemen's clubs. Contractors bringing in some sweet dough down in those places. That, and maybe if, depending on how much time I got between then and the end of the program, cannabis use among seniors up by 75%. This is a fun story, and I'll tell you why. Because it's the way that people perceive seniors. People over 65 years of age, they're smoking dope. I'm 58 in May. These people 65 years of age and older, I knew them when they were hippies. I knew them when they were experimenting with acid and smoking marijuana all the time. It is not a surprise to me that people in their mid-60s, they're not the same kind of grandparent age. They're 65 in 2020 is not the same as 65 in 1960, right? It's completely different, and so this survey here kind of makes me giggle at maybe what their expectations are. Oh my God, old people are smoking marijuana. Get out of here. They've been smoking marijuana since Johnson was the president. Would you? It's 8:59 and change. The radio station is KUSG. Had gotten you 93.3. This is The Point.
To be prepared. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Lawmakers questioning the amount of funding requested to be ready for an outbreak of the coronavirus. Fox's Jared Halpern live on Capitol Hill.
Top public health and homeland security officials are briefing lawmakers on the spread of the coronavirus. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar says cases in the U.S. remain limited, connected to patients traveling from overseas.
But as we have warned, that has the potential to change quickly.
Azar is requesting $2.5 billion in emergency funding to help contain the virus, a total lawmakers are considering, and some suggest is a lowball figure.
They're just short of everything, and restore the cutbacks that they made in CDC.
And Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says the administration has shown towering and dangerous incompetence. Lisa.
Jared, a day after the market's biggest drop in 2 years, stocks slumped again, in part due to fears over the virus. The Dow dropped 879 points. The Nasdaq lost 255. The S&P slipped 97.
A lot of these economically sensitive sectors are the ones being sold off. So the financials, the energy, the materials, and the industrials.
Susan Lee with Fox Business. Another high-profile parent sentenced in the college admissions cheating scandal. Fox's Colonel Scott with this line.
Lisa, Hot Pockets heiress Michelle Janov says she abandoned her moral compass and apologized to family and friends as she was sentenced to 5 months in prison. She pleaded guilty last year to paying $300,000 to have her daughter's answers corrected on the ACT and for one of them to be labeled a beach volleyball recruit to USC, even though she didn't play competitively. Judge Nathaniel Gordon criticized Janovs with stern words in court, likening her actions to bribery, saying he should have sentenced her to a year in prison. Janobs also get a 2 years probation and a $250,000 fine, Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. America is listening to Fox News.
GRMC's cardiology department treats most complex heart problems. In our catheterization lab, cardiologists use imaging equipment to treat clogged arteries that can cause heart attacks or heart failure. We perform balloon angioplasty, stenting, and other life-saving cardiac procedures. If you suffer from a heart condition, have your provider refer you to GRMC's cardiology clinic at 645-5500. GRMC, where patients are partners.
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
We have lunch selection starting at $9. Choose from a variety of mouthwatering entrees like our Old Timer with cheese, ranchero chicken tacos, or the half-rack baby back ribs. All lunch selections are served with a refreshing bottomless Coca-Cola beverage. Experience the bold flavors at a great price with Chili's lunch selection starting at $9. Available Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Located in the Two Monsign's Plaza, second floor. Chili's, savor the moment.
The Supreme Court deciding in favor of an ICE agent involved in a deadly shooting.
A 5-4 divided Supreme Court has blocked a civil lawsuit filed by the family of a Mexican teenager who was killed in a cross-border confrontation in 2010 with federal officers, essentially siding with a U.S. Border Patrol agent. That agent was on American soil and claimed self-defense. Justice Samuel Alito wrote the opinion for the conservative majority in the case known as Hernandez v. Mesa. At issue are the rights of foreign nationals to press their claims in U.S. courts. At the White House, John Decker, Fox News.
39 states working together to look into the marketing and sales of vaping products by Juul Labs, including whether the company targeted young people and made misleading claims about nicotine content on its devices. The state officials say they also will investigate the company's claims about the risk, safety, and effectiveness of its vaping products as smoking cessation devices. Juul releasing a statement saying it has halted television, print, and digital advertising and eliminated most flavors in response to concerns by government officials and others. The FDA and a congressional panel are already investigating whether the company's early marketing efforts, which included online influencers and product giveaways, deliberately targeted minors. Disgraced movie producer Harvey Weinstein remains in a New York City hospital after having chest pains after he was convicted yesterday on sexual assault and rape charges. He'll be jailed in New York's Rikers Island. His attorney, Arthur Aidala, says they will appeal after his sentencing next month.
He does have to go through a certain city bureaucracy, being interviewed by the Department of Probation, etc., before he can be sentenced.
Weinstein faces similar charges in Los Angeles. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Cocoa Coffee Company is now available at Circle K. Single origin coffee beans carefully sourced and locally roasted to give you the freshest cup of coffee Guam has to offer. Grab a cup that's brewed every 30 minutes or purchase a bag of the locally roasted whole beans. Flavors now serving: light medium roasted Ethiopia and medium dark roasted Jamaican Blue Mountain. Exclusively available at Circle K. With every Cocoa Coffee Company purchase, a portion of the proceeds will go towards the Cocoa Recovery Program.
Docomo Pacific wants to keep your business connected. When you sign up for a smart business bundle, you're gaining more than just mobile, internet, and phone services. Receive unbeatable value for your money and the convenience of having it all on one bill. All your business services on the widest and fastest network in Guam and the Marianas. Call 688-2677 for more information on partnering your business. Docomo Pacific Business, delivering your future today.
What? It's me again? I have to talk? Those all okay. Two of my favorites, then American President Lines, APL, Global Presence, and a local home, and the guys over at Chili's, and they're all lined up for Lent as well. They've got the seafood that you crave, the flavors that you love over Lent. Indulge in Lent-friendly soups, salads, appetizers, and all kinds of entrees. You will find Chili's now on the second floor of the Tumon Sands Plaza. Savor the moment with your friends at Chili's.
Rediscover talk radio here. Your FM News Talk Superstation. This is The Point.
6 after 9 o'clock in the morning, it's the Ray Gibson Show, and what I like to refer to as the small talk portion of the program, but today it is completely other, because today in studio I've got a couple of very special guests. I always like talking with them on the phone, but every once in a while, especially when we're talking about the contents of a 3-page press release, it's better to have him in the studio. Dave Del Sola from the Department of Labor is in studio this morning. How you doing, everybody?
I'm doing great.
That is a yellow shirt. That is a very, very yellow shirt that you've got on here.
That's where I got my start.
I was going to say it's visible from space, as a matter of fact. Anyway, so Director Cho is also in the studio. I don't know if she's. We can turn on her microphone so that she can be in the picture. She doesn't Havaday is I don't. Am I? Oh, I know, because I'm not in the thing. There, thanks very much. Now, Director Cho, I refer to her as that just cause. Now you got Dave Del Sola, who is the actual director of the Department of Labor. And then there's me in the camera, if you're watching on Facebook Live. I'm the one that's not a girl and not wearing yellow, for those of you that are challenged otherwise. So before we get started on the apprenticeship, because I know that the governor made pains to, not necessarily pains, but made a point of talking about the number of people that we've got that are working on Guam, and number two, the number that are in the apprenticeship programs. And so in my mind, that's kind of a home run for the Department of Labor and for the administration. But you heard me talking about a job earlier today, a job with a company called Good Day Coordinating. And I thought it was odd. I looked at some of the requirements they're talking about. Must be able to write in English and the Japanese language. And I thought that there might be, back in the old days, I always thought there was an embargo on insisting on language skills. I thought that might be discriminatory against anybody else.
Making it 100% mandatory might be a little discriminatory, but that's not what caught my eye.
Right.
Well, the last part, where if this company has 15 or more employees, they cannot put in their court and police clearances are required until after the job is offered to that individual.
Right.
So we will be politely asking them to get a count of how many employees.
Make sure that they're
and make sure that they're in compliance.
Well, I mean, it's still a new piece of legislation, the Fair Chances Act. It's been out for a while, but it's only been
February 2018.
Right, but when was it?
February 8, 2018.
Is that when it went into effect?
That's when it went into effect.
Okay.
So it's been over a year, and
why do I think
17? Wait a minute.
I think it's 17.
17. I'm sorry.
Trying to remember when it was. When did it? Mary Torres. When did that bill become law? Is number one, and number two, when did it go into effect? Because it seemed to me that there was a long period of time the Department of Labor. I want to say it kind of took your time going into it and allowing for businesses to go in and get the training before you actually started enforcement.
And we still are in that kind of a mode that. This is a very new and a whole different way of thinking.
Yeah.
And so we are just being very aggressive and in the training and offering the classes. We constantly find companies in violation of this, and I am kind enough to offer either a fine or you can come in and attend the class.
Yeah.
And that is something that I'm a very strong proponent, because I did that back when I was those speeding tickets.
The speeding tickets. Do you want to
Okay,
take the-
local law went
take the
into
fine?
effect February 8th, 2018.
There we go. All right.
So I
February
was right
the-
the first time.
All right, so it's not new, but there's a lot of people that for whom it is a different way of thinking in terms of bringing in employees to the company. I was never crazy about it. I understand what the impact, what it is that they're trying to achieve on this. I just worry that it takes away too much discretion for the employers.
It doesn't. I didn't pass the law,
Right.
but when you offer the person a job, that's when you can ask for it.
Right.
So and you still.
But I want to
can
be able to
turn
use
them
court
down.
clearances and drug tests as a
Screen out all of
filter
them.
to screen out all of this, so that when I finally do get somebody, I don't necessarily have to worry that they're going to steal the company blind to support a drug habit. So I want to make sure that
But we have a grant for that.
we have.
We do.
What to do when somebody steals the company
We have
blind
a
to support
fidelity
an
bond
ice
grant.
habit?
Yes.
We'll talk about that. We'll save that for another conversation. And before we get into the apprenticeship field, everybody is getting twitchy about coronavirus and the possibility, not necessarily the possibility. I think it's going to be when. I don't know who is going to be our first coronavirus victim or where they're going to get it from. I know that we're all worried about what's going on in our primary tourist market, Korea. They're knocking off airline flights. We found out that there's a flight attendant from Korean Air that has now been identified as a victim of the coronavirus, and she or he may not have ever set foot on Guam, but it's possible at the airport where they all get their briefings and hang out together and iron their airplane uniforms, that they might have made contact with somebody that did come to Guam. So expect some additional twitchiness there when it gets here. What position do you suppose the Department of Labor will be taking? We were earlier talking about H-2 employees.
Yes, as I mentioned to you that I am releasing a letter today to all the contractors, strongly urging them to pre-screen any H-2s before they leave the Philippines or from wherever they come, and that way we are better protected. And so when they come here, that they do another screening. And try to make sure that anybody that has any symptoms, that they know how to contact public health and what to look out for, because most of them are in barracks, which is a closed
barracks living
facility.
and closed, and everybody's in the same place, breathing the same air.
Very quickly, if something like that was to catch hold. So that kind of mitigation, I am asking for a very strong consideration for pre-screening on that.
Now, there's nothing on the HR side. I was reading a couple of weeks ago how this is being handled in very polite ways, that governments in some of these countries that are affected are asking for treatment for their employees who, we've got coronavirus and the employees are not going to want to go to work because they're worried that they're going to catch it from somebody at work. How do we do this so they don't get fired? Can we have them telecommute? Or there are things that we can do saying, okay, well, you don't have any vacation, you're not taking any sick on this, so you can take administrative days off until you feel comfortable coming back to work without getting them fired. Then the other side is, at which point am I the employer say, I got to get work done around here and I need employees, so it's come in or you're going to lose your job. But, there's going to need to be a balance somewhere.
And that's, when you have that kind of situation, the only thing I can tell people is that's when common sense rules
is going to dictate.
You got to be balanced and fair. And if you're having an outbreak in your office, well then I'm not coming in. I'm not coming in.
Right.
You do, and that's fair. But if nothing's going on in your office and that person just wants not to come in, then I don't think that's reasonable and fair or fair. So, a lot of what I do or try to, there's not laws and everything written out. So you just have to use common sense rules.
Who'd ever thought we'd be having conversations like this? And then, of course, we worry about the professionals, the healthcare professionals, and their exposure to it. There's a story from out of China. The part of it is fake news, but there's part of it that also seems to ring true. Is the number of healthcare professionals that are falling ill with coronavirus from taking care of patients that already have coronavirus. That's kind of spooky.
This whole thing is very scary,
and
it's something that. I think we've done a very good job at least trying to get this island prepped, and being small and limited ports of entry. I think we have everything in place to do what we can do to mitigate it
as much as we can until it's impossible.
I mean,
this thing
we definitely have a very strong dialogue throughout the whole island.
Well, I
and-
was
and all the
delighted.
medias.
I was delighted. I read earlier, I don't know if you caught it, I read earlier a letter that was written to the Vice President of the United States talking about access to $2.5 billion worth of federal cash resources and other resources that they want to put to bear on the coronavirus to make sure that we can contain the spread when it does come to the United States of America, and maybe work on vaccinations and getting vaccines out in an awful big hurry should we need to. And if they figure $2.5 billion is going to work for that, and I would hope that there are people in this government that you are a part of that are also saying, okay, tip of the spear, we're the closest America to where all of these things are happening in Japan and Korea and Wuhan in China. So make sure that some of that $2.5 billion makes its way over to here, because we are going to be among the vanguards of protecting the mainland United States and Hawaii and the other states and territories from the ingress of the coronavirus. But that's not why Dave Del Sol's here.
Thought we might get to it.
Well,
eventually.
no, we will. Well, it's a big deal. And you know, I've always been a fan of it and tried to help support the number of times that you've called in, or that Hannah has sent me something that says, okay, we're taking some more applications for applicants into these apprenticeship programs, and now we're at a point where you've got about 1,000 people, over 1,000 people in these apprenticeship programs,
and over 400 in pre-apprenticeship.
Okay, now why the distinction? Why do we have two?
Well, you know, to try to say in a nutshell is that when apprenticeship is real good, but it's very demanding. You have to be able to be hired, train, work full time, and go to school, and that requires a fairly large commitment. A very large commitment.
Yeah.
And employers are very guarded on making sure that they succeed in who these people are that they hire. And so I was noticing that a lot of our harder to serve population wasn't able to take advantage of that.
Let's define harder to serve.
Well, the ones that don't qualify as well. Even though this is a pre-qualifying, you get hired, you get taught and become certified.
Right.
But there is certain level of confidence and requirements and that is needed and maturity that's needed to succeed.
Not everybody is going to meet the standards for the apprenticeship program.
So that's where pre-apprenticeship comes in, and these boot camps where we necessarily look at the person itself and their willingness to learn and their aggressiveness to work and learn a work ethic.
That sounds like the private sector. That sounds like exactly everything that a boss or manager is looking for in the private sector. Level of maturity. Can you take instructions?
Private sector jobs.
Yeah.
Practically.
We want you to come to work every morning at 8 o'clock. If you can be here at 7:45 to prep for the work, that'd be absolutely great.
You know, and when it comes to construction and a lot of these fields, it's not just coming to work at 8. Is what it is being ready to work at 8.
Yes.
So you come into work at 7:30. If you have to put on a uniform, get all the stuff ready, have your coffee, have your snack,
Sudoku.
and then at 8, boom, you work.
Yeah.
It's not, let me set up my coffee, let me have my snack, let me have everything set up. I'm here at work, but let me finish.
Because the job starts at 8.
And 8:20 is when you're actually done.
It's fairly good advice for whether you're pre-apprenticeship, apprenticeship, or you're just looking for a job here in a company. And there's some good jobs that are out there with some real high-flying companies that may or may not be affected by the coronavirus.
Just to share with you.
Yeah, do me a favor. Move the microphone closer to you so everybody can hear you a little bit better.
That is just some of the jobs. And if you notice the jobs, these aren't all construction.
Yeah, in my mind, when you say apprentice, I'm thinking about somebody that's learning to weld for the first time or work with iron and rebar and electrical and plumbing and that kind of thing. But here, hotel associate, an internetworking technician. There's manager food services and nurse assistant certified. And I want to say there's a baker in here. Did I see bakery?
Yes,
I did see bakery and that kind of thing. So it's not all of these hard trades that we're talking about.
Close to 2,000 apprenticeable occupations. And we are reaching out with the GRAP program, the Guam Registered Apprenticeship Program. We're reaching out to all these small businesses who are having a hard time getting trained individuals.
Yeah.
And the industry that has embraced this the most is the cellular business. The cellular companies.
Oh, I can imagine.
You can just imagine all the technical people and the customer service reps that answered the phones, the level of information that they have to present when you have a problem, and how to navigate it, that takes a certain amount of knowledge. Nothing's worse than when you get caught with some of these call centers and they don't know what they're talking about.
Do me a favor here. I noticed that you've got 5 applicants, five folks that are getting trained up in radio and TV engineering.
Okay, so I guess that's not you.
No, it's not. I'm not the guy, but I know the guy. He looks just like me. That might be interested in hiring one of these apprentices when you're all done. I mean, most of the work anymore is plug and play and digital, but it'd be nice if there was somebody that also had the sense that God gave horses, knows how to twist a couple of wires together, and might know how to read schematics and be able to troubleshoot issues that we might have in the more analog and more electrical parts of our plant.
And if you have somebody here that knows all that, we can certainly give you an apprentice that'll come in and learn, and then supplement that with some schooling, and we will put together a program that'll be certifiable that he can graduate from, and you can take a 50% tax break on the person's salary and everything that's surrounding him, even the person teaching him. And then when they go to GCC and they pick up the class, those are all free. So we are very, this whole program is not labor. This is partnerships.
Cosmetology, and there's diesel mechanics. I mean, so it runs the gamut of the spectrum of different kinds of jobs. Not all outside, not all inside, not all management, not all supervisory, not all grunt. It seems to, all of these different positions are apprenticeable.
When we put 284, something like
252.
that. 252 in the Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association. They were made up a whole gamut of people. You had people that were stuck in a job, that were doing the same thing over and over, that couldn't move up. So they were now put into this program, taught some skills, and they can qualify for the next level up.
That's a whole hotel's worth of staff we're talking about.
And then some that, of course, were now gainfully employed that would normally not qualify. They were in there. So, we reached out and we're trying to hit all the different industries and trying to help them train our workforce, get some of these people up that don't qualify, get them some skills so that they can enter basic entry-level positions, and the ones that have been sitting in positions for a long time who want to move up, who have the skills as far as showing up, have the basics, but they don't maybe have the training or the classrooms to move up to the next level, whether it be a front desk manager or clerk or housekeeping supervisor.
Because in some cases, it's hard to move up if there's already somebody in there. If you're not in a program like an apprenticeship, you might get stuck where you are for a long time. I'm just looking over some of the other data here and the demographics as you shared with me. First thing, there's a cell called carryover, and then there's new. Can you explain that before we get into where those numbers?
The apprenticeship program is, can go from 1 to 4 years.
Okay.
So we are constantly having people graduate and new people come in. Some people going into their second year, their third year, if there's a 4-year program. So, tracking is difficult when it's very fluid.
It's like in the schools, watching the cohorts.
Yeah,
move.
you got moving in, moving out, continuing on. And so this is, for transparency, I try to put in everything that you could see that with the breakdown and the different fields.
Well, one of the things that I'm seeing here is that this is not all just kids.
No.
And when we break it down by age, the bump in the snake here is between 25 and 54.
Yeah, if you go to a GCC pre-apprenticeship program, you're going to see maybe 1 or 2 high school. You're going to see some kids that are in the 20s, all the way up into the 40s. Some people are just, they're just tired of the dead-end job, not doing anything. So, boom, they go into this, and they're moving it into an apprenticeable position that'll slowly become a journeyman or skilled labor.
I'm looking at the breakdown between male and females now. We got it's a heavier ratio here. It's 3 to 1, very male friendly. Why is that? Are there just not enough apprenticeable positions for women, or are they just not looking at these programs? What do you think? Maybe a combination of both.
A lot of the positions are typically male oriented when you're talking about construction and those type of trades. At these boot camps and at these things, we'll see a class of 20 to 25 clients there, and they'll have like 3 females. And we're always constantly reaching out, trying to get.
I'd love to get more women in welding. Get the attention to detail that women could bring to welding that they learn from doing their nails.
Well, the BCA Trades Academy just actually held a job fair reaching out to women to consider the trades.
And that's why if you had a forum,
and I think they should.
We had Kathleen McCabe.
Yeah, that's right.
Kayleen.
Yeah, the superstar.
Yes, so and that was one of the things that we were trying to highlight was women.
Get women in trades.
Non-traditional jobs.
Seriously, I'm reminded GTA. In fact, GTA is going to be in next week. April Flores and the girls are going to be in next week. Oddly, not to talk to me about new phones, although I think there's going to be a conversation about the Samsung 20 for a little bit. But they're also going to be doing the women in IT, women in tech. That they're going. That's not the name of it, but that's one of the places where we're going to be going. And as you can see, and as you've already said, there are a lot of technical positions, IT positions.
Talk to them about the GRAT program and how they're taking advantage of it.
I sure will. I just think it's interesting. Now, the other thing, I'm looking at these numbers, and I'm a little bit disappointed on the number of veterans that have not taken advantage of the opportunity for apprenticeship, considering how many jobs there are, how many roles there are in the military that don't transfer well into the private sector. So it's you might have some...
Veterans are in high demand.
Yeah.
And there's very low unemployment in veterans because I'm telling you, the skills and the traits that a veteran has is very much in demand by employers. So we have an office separated just for help the veterans, especially with barriers, and we concentrate on them. So our veteran population
in the apprenticeship program it could be bigger. So combine up the opportunity to learn, and it's the win-win-win for everybody. You get the apprenticeship, you get your employer, your potential employer gets a break on the taxes, and there's the educational upside to all of this.
I was just talking to General Agagi, and she says that I guess they're having a cohort of National Guards coming in, and a lot of them may be out of the job. When they get deployed, they come back. So we were talking about doing a kind of go have us come in, meet with them all when they get in, and then that way we can hit them while they're all together and start doing the application. And
is this for them to rotate out of the guard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when they come back after a huge deployment, especially for like a year or so, they come back. Not all of them have jobs. Some of them went from being part-time to full-time over there. Yeah. So when they come back, they're looking for work. And like I said, those that type of demographic and population are usually in high demand for companies because of their work ethic.
Yeah, we know we already know what they're capable of. It's all written down somewhere. There's a folder that
on time at work and ready to listen and take orders and follow it.
Understand the chain of command, all of those kinds of things. This is an exciting program, and no less than Aaron Wall, the boss of this regional executive assistant of apprenticeship for the Department of Labor, says Guam's doing great.
Yes. And that was like what the governor's opening remarks about us having over 1,000, which is more than 1/3 what we did this year than we did in the last 5 years. And that kind of a feat, and then this diversity, they were like so impressed. They were saying, "Man, we wish we could just package this up and take it to the States as a road show." For other states to emulate.
Diversity. I mean, the guy knows that this is like the ultimate melting pot, right?
Yes.
Yes, I don't do
and diversity. By diversity
is kind of baked
by
in.
The job diversity.
Oh, job diversity. Yeah. I thought we were talking about, racial and
job, like you see, because
DNA genetics.
For them, most of the jobs are construction, and mainly those. And what he sees us, what we're doing with the GRAP and the Manpower Development Fund, and our partnership with the military. And when the H2s come in, we collect $2,000 per head,
right?
And 70% of that.
You say that
goes
like it's a
into-
good thing.
It is a good thing. We're
No,
training up our people.
Well, I know. I'm just thinking about the cost of the employee that we bring in. That
I'll have a
and
press
people.
release for you
There's another
later.
press release
Oh,
coming
yeah.
out on that. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad everybody's busy.
You know, it's something that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And since it's going to happen, I want to take full advantage of it.
It's just you hear the point that there are business people that want to bring in H2s
Yes.
and maybe even H2s that we might be able to get as Department of Labor has tried to do from places besides the Philippines and for projects unrelated to the military.
Well,
and it's
30% of the
expensive to do when we're talking about
30% of the H2s that are here are for as they don't like to use outside the fence projects.
How'd they get here?
So
wait, back up on that. How did we get those 32%?
If they have a project and come see us, and we'll see whether we can work it out. And I've been preaching that this one Guam approach that the governor said is very well supported by the military.
No, I understand that, and I can't understand why there aren't more projects that are getting green
And we
lit.
have the apostolization process.
Yes.
The what process?
That's a whole thing where.
So another press release?
Well, we're just trying to make things easier for them to get here and from the Philippines, and making sure that they are, before the Philippines was demanding that free room and board, and that goes against the U.S.
Right.
So we were able to kind of get that clause
taken out.
Okay. And I'm working on that clause being a permanent fix. Because of the high salaries that we pay,
Right.
in order to pay the prevailing wage, we're paying 10, 15 times the amount that a normal Filipino worker
And
gets.
then on top of that, there's the room and board
wanna put
requirements.
They already get a very high subsidized room and board. So we were able to get that problem solved. That was a problem that came up that we kind of kept quiet because it could have stopped the whole buildup.
Well, the concern that I have is there are projects out there every once in a while. We talk about Route 14, ITC building. In fact, the carpet store all the way up to the Archbishop Circle, and that has gone out to bid 3 times, is my understanding. And there aren't construction companies here to take it because they don't have the manpower to get it done. And I'm going, well, just start telling everybody and get the certification from NAVCAM. NAVFAC, and have them certify that as a build-up related project.
It would be already, and it's just that chilling effect that we had when they just stopped all the approvals for the H2s.
Yeah.
And now that chilling effect is just slowly eroding as we work and get more projects approved. It's a slow. I mean, we haven't taken care of all of the problems, but those kind of things we can get approved.
Well, we got
when it comes
1,000
to the
apprentices in a variety of positions. And the last thing before I let you run here is the ultimate concern that an employer is going to have is, yes, I'll work with you on this apprenticeship program, and we're going to get somebody, and he's going to be he's going to make it all the way through the course. He's going to get himself certified, and then he's going to file Chapter 777 and go and rebuild the Gulf states after the next big hurricane that they get. How do we incentivize some of these apprentices to stick around for more than a season or two?
It shows that, and I'm trying to remember the percentage, like a 40% retention rate when you do that. When you hire somebody who does not qualify, and you train them, it almost gets like a natural buy-in from that person. The loyalty that you get from an employee who knows that they weren't qualified and has worked with you and trained with you and you've invested with them, they have more than a 40% chance of staying with you than if you just hire somebody right out of college. Yeah. They have no loyalty. It's strictly just show me the money, hire me. Okay, I get this training experience. Oh, there's somebody offering me a couple bucks more over here. I jump ship.
We see that all the time. 934 Department of Corrections, they will release and parole people from time to time. I want to say that there are some people who have taken advantage of the time while they have been behind bars to improve themselves mentally, physically, and maybe job-wise. Do we have any programs for formerly incarcerated individuals?
We are working closely with them to try to start a program in-house so that even some of these incarcerated have skills and they can start training and start like a mini apprenticeship program. We are already starting a program with the RSAT. So we are all working at trying to help these incarcerated people before they get out become skilled and have use their time wisely so that they can move into a employment.
What did Gary tell you about unemployment numbers? Where are we at these days?
Oh, I think we're...
How low is it now?
We're down to 3.6.
I think 3.6.
Yeah, virtually everybody has a job.
Which was a point lower.
Yeah.
I think it was 3.7 before. So our unemployment is a non-issue.
Yeah.
But we still have 50,000 people
on the food stamps
that are not working,
not looking for a job.
Not looking for a job. That's what I'm hoping apprenticeship will reach out to these people and say, wow, look, I can actually get a good paying job and a skill, and there's enough people that we've touched that they can say, wow, just my cousin just graduated in pre-apprenticeship. Now he's got this decent job. I mean, you're doing truck drivers.
Truck driver's a decent job by heavy equipment operators.
Operator.
I want to know how to do that.
We're going to need several hundred a day at the peak of this realignment. And so we need to start addressing them. And, the truck driver companies here saying, we need more. I'll hire
license
every
them faster.
single one that you can pre-apprentice, get them a C license. We'll hire every single one.
Right.
And Mary Okada is doing a great job, and we are supporting her, and we're working very closely with her. We're working closely with the schools.
What about DMV over at Rev & Tax? Because I understand for a long time that was one of the big holdups was actually getting these guys tested. Getting them educated is not the problem; it's the road test.
Well, we'll tackle that problem if I need to do that. Too. I think Daphne is doing a great job over there, and I haven't heard that to be a problem now. So. All I know is that when they graduated, they got their C licenses and they're being picked up and they're learning how to and becoming pre-apprentices.
You remind me, Juan Carlos Benitez sent me some paperwork and timelines, and we are now at the vanguard of it. We are just now starting to rise up into what peak construction is going to look like in the next 18 months or something like that. So things are definitely going to get busy around here. It's just, as you said, finding a way to get those thousands of people that aren't in the workforce, aren't looking for a job right now, that are capable of it. What are the numbers going to end up being of people that over 18 years of age don't have any dependents? There's the whole criteria for these guys for them to either get themselves a job, get themselves trained. Otherwise, they're going to be kicked off the welfare rolls.
Well, there was there's like 2,500, I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought the number ended up to be.
Able-bodied workers.
Yeah.
And we working very closely with Public Health. They're one of our partners down at the One Stop. So we are addressing at trying to give them apprentices, work experience.
Well, doesn't that kick in soon?
Training.
I mean,
that's already.
We are already doing that.
And
we've
been training.
No, but I mean, not your program, but I mean, when does it take effect, that Trump call that these guys have got to get off?
It was September.
That's already done?
Okay. I think it was already coming in.
So I don't pay attention to that because I already got a job. I have to come work every day. Listen, 9:38. I got to break away from the conversation. Dave, thanks so much for coming by the radio station.
It's a pleasure.
Bring a bright red shirt next time. And it's always fun seeing you, right?
I think so.
I think so. 20 away from the top of the hour. We'll call that iConnect time. Run to the nearest iConnect and ask them about saving you some money. Mobile, internet, and push-to-talk plans. In fact, if you don't have a phone, there's a great opportunity for you to go and get one. Can't afford the new Samsungs, can't afford the new iPhones. Try the OnePlus 7T. Google that and take a look at it and spec it out. I think you're going to be very happy with what you see. Then go to iConnect at the mall and check out the price. I think you're going to be happy with what you see. iConnect at the Micronesia Mall.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training.
You know that morning routine we've talked about? Well, I found some ideas you might try to make it even more effective. I'm Jerry Roberts, and at 7:20 a.m. on the Ray Gibson Show, small tweaks to the routine can make a difference.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at GuamTraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts. Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
Cocoa Coffee Company mugs are now here. Show pride for your island as you enjoy your delicious Circle K coffee. Each generously sized 16-ounce mug is etched with Guam-inspired images like Chief Gadao, Serena, Two Lovers, and many more. The Cocoa Coffee Company mug collection is available for a limited time only, so don't miss out. Get yours today and collect them all. Exclusively available at Circle K locations. A portion of the proceeds go toward the Cocoa Bird Recovery Program.
If you own a Toyota, please listen to this. It could help you avoid injury, maybe save your life. The Takata airbags installed in certain Toyotas can explode and shoot out sharp metal fragments at people inside the vehicle. You don't need to be in a collision. They could explode any time. In the U.S., these airbags have caused 26 deaths. There's been a worldwide recall of Takata airbags, and most have had the faulty parts replaced. But here in Guam, there are still over 3,000 Toyotas on the road with potentially lethal airbags, and yours could be one of them. So please, take your Toyota to Atkins Grow, even if you didn't buy it from us, and get the inflator replaced. It costs you nothing, it takes just about an hour, and it could save a life, yours or someone you love. The AK song says we're here for life. That's never been more true.
At Atkins Grow, we're here for life.
What? What now? What? I got to read again? I got to tell everybody? People already know this. I don't need to say, about going to Denny's. They know that there's, what is it, Thursday? No, it's Wednesday. What's Wednesday on their soup count? Tomorrow's oxtail. That's what you need to know. And tomorrow being Thursday, you don't have to worry that it's meat. There's oxtail in the meat. It's Thursday, Friday, right? That's what you got to worry about because they're going to be pork synagogue, and you're going to have to make that deal with God. I know it's Friday, but Polly, it's pork sinigang. I had no choice. It's so good. Find that, and they got the rice. They serve that with rice. While supplies last at Denny's. What is this? It sounds like it's playing at the wrong speed. I'm familiar with the concept of WoW and Flutter, but I didn't think we were going to have that in the digital universe that we're in. Hi, Ray Gibson Show for another, 19 minutes or so. 888-825-5888-TALK. We've got, there's going to be a downturn in business all over the island, and I've been telling you as much as you possibly can. Get out there, support local, buy local, eat local, and especially if you've got friends and family that live and work and work in the Tumon area. These guys are at ground zero. Them and over by the Sheraton side and Santa Fe and all of that. These guys are going to be at ground zero when it comes to the downturn in the hospitality industry. So here's what was sent to me, and I'm going to share it with you because these are friends of mine. And I want you to know that they're opening their. This is one of those things. Everybody says, "Well, you know what? Now would be a good time for a lot of these businesses to start attracting local and military customers to their place." Okay, well, fine, it's happening now that the invitation is out there, and in many cases they've got promo prices. They've rolled them back. Okay, now you can go and take your family and enjoy. In this case, Magic Show, one of the best magic shows I've ever seen, and totally enjoyed it. Anthony's and the encore presentation down in Tumon. This is an incredible show. I know because I've seen it a couple of times, and so I suggest that you go and take advantage of that. They've got the local and U.S. military appreciation specials between here and the end of March. So if you want, call Encore Reservations 647-7227. 647-7227. Great family entertainment. By the way, there's nothing in there, Mom and Dad, that you're going to have to explain to the kids when you go and watch that show. Sandcastle has got some great prices on their get-togethers every night. In fact, they ride the ducks, and it looks like the entire Baldiga chain. Basically doing what we have done in the past, just kind of pulling out that page from the SARS book, pulling out the page from the bird flu book, pulling out the page from the Gulf War books. This has been the strategy for years. And if you are one of those people who might still be in a business that's not affected yet by what's going to be the downturn, then the suggestion is you go and help out your brothers and sisters in Tumon. The charity begins at home here. 888-8255 is the telephone number. See, Bob Kelly's, I don't know if he wants to call in, but he had sent me a thing about his experience. He's been doing some traveling lately around the Pacific. and he had sent me a thing. Let me see if I got it in a place where I can read it to you. But Bob has been all over the place, and they've got places where they're not using thermal scanners. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept, but basically a thermal scanner is one of these deals where they put you in front of a camera that doesn't pick up regular light. It picks up the heat that's coming off your body, and if you are a sick person, it will show up. You'll show up on the thing as heat blooms, and they'll say, "You're sick. Come with us." Now it might not be coronavirus. You might just be sick with something. You might have an infection, some kind of deal in your body. So it's nice to have that. The other thing is Bob on the line now?
No, that's Jack.
Oh, Jack's on the line. Okay, we'll get around to Bob if he's listening here. But he sent me a thing. I hate it when that happens. I don't have it in front of me, but I think there's a version of it here. In Manila, the malls checked me out with a thermometer when I entered. It's the same kind that you have with the kids, and you put the thermometer in your ear, in the kids' ears. Same thing, and it only takes a second. It goes in there, click, and you pull the trigger, and it'll show you what the temperature is.
Instantaneous.
Instantaneous. Yeah. And the neat thing is, they're not $30,000 or $40,000 a piece. And the other neat thing about it is they're virtually universally available. I bet we could go on Amazon and get one or two of these things, half a dozen of them, and just equip them with the guys over at the airport and go, okay, let's see, the bang, bang, bang. And anybody that's too far out of register, it would make a noise or something like that. Ear thermometer, forehead thermometers, available, and I think, yep, there it is, Amazon. They checked out our foreheads with the thermometer. Happened 3 times in Manila, once going to church and twice going into the malls. I had not heard that they were doing this. On Guam, we're going to wait 60 days to get a camera for the airport. This could be something that we could put in place almost immediately and at least deal with this problem and begin to surveil better now than we're capable of doing. And why wait? Right, Bob?
Yeah, hello.
Hey.
Yes. I'm on my way over to DOC, but I wanted to stop and just chat since I heard you talk about it.
Oh, you're on your way to the Department of... Hey, good luck in jail.
Now, I'm supposed to look. We need to look at the wiring that's been in there since the beginning of the place and try to see what we can do to help get some communications for the inmates to more easily call home, call their friends and family.
Oh, really? I didn't think they were allowed to do that. We don't give them cell phones.
No, they have to use the special phones, which are recorded, and they can only call certain numbers. It's an inmate phone system there. I've been working with it now for about 13, 14 years.
I had no idea. Well, one of these days you can explain that a little bit more to me. But in the course of your travels in Manila, I didn't realize that they were scanning people going into malls and church.
Oh, yes. Well, our mall, absolutely. And also one of the main churches, yes. And by the way, they do the forward, not the ear. You just touch your forward. It's faster. I mean, seriously, it's faster than going up and taking the Eucharist in the church. That's how fast you walk in there. You got 2 people standing there with these things. As people are walking in, they touch the forward. It's instantaneous. And you can set, as you already said, that little one, I don't know, it's what, $40, $50 from Amazon?
Yeah.
It's set up for an alarm. So if the temperature is over, say you set it at 100, any temperature over 100, it'll beep.
Let's get a bunch of those. Well, here's the thing, God. Here's the up and down on this. We don't have to use it to scan every single passenger that comes in on the airplanes. We can, is nice. But if you are maybe somebody that is running a Micronesia Mall or a Guam Premier Outlets or any number of restaurants for the safety and security of your customers, I would feel better knowing that everybody that I am eating with in this big room, with the sealed air conditioning and all of that, that we are all roughly the same temperature.
That's right. Now, we certainly have more security issues in Manila going into the malls. As you know, they have metal detectors, armed guards, and everything.
Yep.
So adding that was just a small thing, where in our malls, we don't do anything like that in the U.S. as far as security, which they have in Manila.
Yeah.
And I like it. I even don't mind the security, because does it bother you to go through a metal detector? No.
Absolutely not. Well, here's the thing, though. Having been through a number of those checkpoints in the malls and things like that, the ones with the metal detectors, yeah, I can deal with that. It's just that it's the way that the very, very almost cursory way they're just going through the motions of looking in my backpack and my purse. Because frankly, Bob, they've missed the knife every time.
Well, going back though to the temperature issue, it was very fast. Yes, it did not bother me. It made me feel better. And if we got, right now, I would recommend that the government of Guam, I think you have people from the governor's office and airport listening, get 8 or 10 of those. And when people are getting off flights from Korea or other areas that have been hit, Singapore, you may not need to do it for flights from Hawaii, but there's no reason not to. But anybody coming from a country that's currently facing a risk, they should just have somebody standing there with those and check them as they come on. Even the airline could put 2 employees to do that if the people are getting off the plane.
You know what? You've got good ideas, and I like the way that we're talking about using technology to help resolve one of these issues.
It's cheap. These things are so dirt cheap, they're almost throwaways. That's why I can't see why we're waiting for a camera for 60 days when we could order these things and have them here in a couple of days.
You know, I'd mentioned that or the question why we don't already have something like that in place. And when I mentioned that to Dr. Akimoto, he made it sound like they weren't as good. The efficacy of those devices weren't as good as other ways to be able to determine whether somebody might have a virus in them or not.
Well, all you're telling is if they have a fever.
Yeah, right. And so you'd think you'd be able to get that with thermal image scanners that frankly have been around forever.
But besides the thermal image cameras, as I said, just buy a bunch of these things and do it.
Gotcha.
I mean, I really think I see no reason. If we're worried about people with fevers coming in, I see no reason why we can't. As I said, you just click as the people. I mean, you're just basically walking through the line. They put it to the forward, click, and they get an instant reading on the forward.
We'll see what happens. 10 away from the top of the hour, Bob. Thanks for the time, and thanks for thinking about your fellow man around here. 10 away from the top of the hour. I'm going to bring in Jack here. How long is the next break? 45 seconds?
Yeah.
I'll just remind me to stop talking before 45 seconds before the news. I'll see if I can do that. But first, I wanted to get this on the screen because it's in my mind it's funny, and Catholics appreciate funny stuff. Wait a second. You got it on the audio for the guy because you can hear it. It comes with audio. He's talking.
Hey, look, God forgive me, but they should really have Father McNamara retire. I mean, he's got to take care of that Parkinson's. Why don't they let Father Burns do the ashes next year?
All right, there you go. Tough stuff from the world of comedy. My buddy Jack's on the line. Jack, you scared the bejesus out of everybody yesterday talking about that guy. It's a Candid. James Howard looped out the video. It's on Candid News now with you talking about some guy got off a plane from Korea that said that he was in China and hasn't been quarantined.
Not Korea. It came via Japan.
Via Japan, but he was in where?
But
he was.
I
Where
don't
was
know
he?
how long he was in China or how long he laid over in Japan. But listen,
Dude, I got a
little-
member of the federal family is asking me to get contact information from you, so you might be able to find so that they might be able to interview this guy.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, anyways, I was just listening to you earlier, and Ash Wednesday is a sacrament, Ray.
Shut up.
Listen, hopefully the good Lord graze on the curb, and then we'll have you to thank for it. But
well, wait a second. All right, now this is me being the narcissistic Ray. It should be.
No, but I
it
was
should
listening
be
to Bob Kelly, and God bless him because he also does the
intercom system, yeah,
for the cathedral. So he does good work.
But there's a whole radio station there that is practically run and maintained and has been for a long time by Bob and his guys. So yeah.
Yes. So, anyways, I know you wanted to, but I heard you talking about Medicare, and I just wanted to give you this short story. One of my cousins was leaving off island and asked me. This was about a couple of months ago. I'd say about maybe last year, about March. So more than a few months ago. So he asked me to take my aunt. She had a mammogram to do. It's one of those. She's at that age that she had to do a mammogram, and she has Medicare A and B. And I said, sure, I'll do it I'll do it. He's going off island. He's the caregiver for his mom. So I said, no problem. I'll do it for him while he was gone.
Yeah.
So anyways, I took her to the radiologist. You got the form, the appointment, and stuff like that. Go from one counter, and then they call us over to another counter. And while we're there, she goes, "Oh, by the way, we can give your aunt a bone density test." And I said, "I'm just here, whatever the doctor wants, that's what the doctor needs." And then she goes, well, it's free. Now, I want you to let that sink in for a minute.
Sure.
And this is the problem with Universal and Medicare in general, is that it's such a large program that the abuse is just, it's astounding. I mean, how long did we have the abuse for the ambulance before they caught that? Just the idea that I'm taking my aunt, who I love dearly, and of course I had her get it. It was free. But it's not free, The mammogram came out to like $100-some, and that bone density ranged about 45, 49. I forgot what it was. But someone got billed for that.
I guarantee it.
Yeah, and so it's not free. And I just don't understand, If I can refer you to an article written by Robbie Pearl, and it was published in Forbes about a couple of years ago, about when the Medicare for All was coming out. And the problem is that, 90% of what we call Medicare is covered by Medicare. The other 10% is covered by private insurance. So like my aunt would have parts A and B, but then she would have what they call an umbrella.
Supplemental, yeah.
Usually is, at that time, was, I think, Select Care or whatever it was. And so they would pick up the other costs or things like that. And the thing that they have with Medicare for All, since they only cover 90% of the cost, the other 10% is relied on insurance, private insurance. And what they do is they do a thing called cost shifting. And so what you usually get for $80, $90 on Medicare, if you were going to get it in private insurance, it's like $120, $130, $140 or something like that. So they do a cost shifting so the hospitals and things could stay solvent. We had this problem with Guam Memorial Hospital when it came to their billing. They say they rely on the 3 M's. What are the 3 M's?
Medicare,
Medicaid, MIP. And then who picks up the other 10%? It's the private insurance. And so it's not a solvable problem. The problem gets solved actually when you get clinicians involved, not necessarily insurance and policymakers. It's the clinicians involved that will determine, hey, we have this high rate of diabetes here. We need to focus on these things. They determine what will be on the plan. Now, here's the big thing is that when you get a universal health care here, if you decide to go that route, there's going to be massive, problems with fraud. It's just inevitable. There'll be people trying to make money and things like that, things down and down low. We won't see it because everything is paid up front. Everything is paid up front with these things,
and so like your bone density deal, somebody's going to be saying, okay, we'll just we'll load this thing
free,
out
right?
there. You do it. You don't have to do it. There's no requirement. Your doctor didn't order it, but let's do it anyway. So I've got another billable that I can do with against this plan.
And then you see it you see it as it progresses. And, the doctors, to be on the safe side, will order this plan. Why not? Or order this test. You don't need this test, and you end up taking this test every time before you go see the doctor. I think it's just a waste of resources. I think it's not concentrating on the preventive measures, which really that's what we need to do as a society. And here in Guam, is concentrate on the preventive measures. And do proactive stuff. I did not agree with the inclusion of gym membership to health insurance plans. I said really.
Well, wait. Are you talking about the government insurance plans or my regular plan? Because if I want to be able to go to the Paradise down the street, I want to go to the Paradise in Agania, I want to be able to hit the Steel and the Unifieds and all the other guys. And if I can make that part of my office's health and wellness plans, then I think it's a good thing. Do I want to pay for it for every employee in the government of Guam, regardless of whether they use it or not? No. No, I do not.
Well, that's just it. But you would have a choice plans.
Right. Well,
So-
we don't have a choice of plans anymore, and I got a feeling that universal health care is going to feel
you
just. All I need to hear is Auntie Lou saying, "Well, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan." When those words come out of her mouth, we're screwed. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, Jack. I got to run. Stand by now. Fox News Live after these.
Mescla Tomorrow Fusion Bistro in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon is now introducing an at-table all-you-can-eat breakfast menu from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. every Saturday and 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. every Sunday. Enjoy some quality time with your friends and family with some of your favorite local cuisine, from their waffle, hotcakes, and French toast station to their eggs and omelet station and a variety of scrumptious desserts. Weekends at Mescla Bistro in the Grand Plaza Hotel just got hotter. New year, new menu. Call 969-2652 for reservations. Some restrictions apply.
With a new decade, there are new opportunities. And with new opportunities, there is always a chance to say yes. Yes to that car. Yes to that business venture. Yes to that new house. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes. Member FDIC.
U.S. outbreak of the coronavirus.
At a sometimes contentious hearing on Capitol Hill, Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar briefed the Senate Appropriations Committee on the administration's response to the threat at home.
We do have in the Strategic National Stock